guys.
What's good?
Good. How y'all?
Man, glad to be back home. Blessing.
Yeah, you were sounding tired in the airport this morning.
Bro, I was hurting. Pause. I woke up like 3 this morning to catch a early flight.
Mm-hmm.
I was, when you called me, I was in Atlanta. I was going through Atlanta about to board when you called me. That's how early it was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know about those early Atlanta flights. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Catch 5:30.
Ooh. Caught me good too.
AG, what's up? You and your family done kayaking up the Mississippi? No? Still on vacation?
I heard I heard the jokes the last pod. Those were pretty good. Yeah, I'm off. Still not on the home front. I'm off vacation though. I'm taking care of some family business out of town now. So,
What's up, Bugs?
But the vacation was good. Sun, water, relaxation. It was good.
That always helps. That helps.
On an actual beach, not up the Mississippi, but
Okay.
Before you over there, Myrtle Beach, South Cat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How was it? How was the weather?
It was perfect, man. Yeah, because Debbie had just came through the hurricane, so not another Debbie.
Debbie, I'm trying to say, is Debbie the connect or something? Like, what the hell is this?
But Debbie had just came through. Debbie had just came through the week before, and that kind of blew over, and then the weather was perfect after that, man. It rained the first day we was down there, and then the day we left, so everything in between was perfect. It was good.
No doubt. I was in Charleston when you was out there. I was in Charleston for like a day and a half, and it was hot. It was hot. We was on the other side in Charleston just to do a quick turnaround, family reunion stuff, quick turnaround. So, yeah, man, good times.
There's people that claim you.
Nah, I'm not a celebrity, man. I gotta tell y'all a story offline though about MC Shan though. But
wow, you just saw Shan in New York?
Shan is crazy, man.
I don't want to hear the story. I don't think
Shan is crazy.
I have a feeling, especially like knowing you and your lifestyle. Like I know where like this is headed. I don't want to go.
He's like a cousin. Like he's like a third or fourth cousin down the line. It's a crazy story, man. It's crazy.
Queens get the money, right?
Queens get the money, man. Queens get the money. Yeah. He got his teeth fixed too, man. So that's a good thing.
Okay, first topic.
I was already ready. No. I was already ready. Now I'm really ready. So what are we talking about today, fellas? What are we?
We got Mad Max. Yo, Mad Max, Steve Stoute was correct. Nobody cares about Mad Max. Hold tight. Hold tight. Yo, Mad Max again. Lyrics only matter if the beat, voice, and flow is fire. Hold tight, Mad Max. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that. I see you, Jack. We're going to talk about that too. We got y'all covered. I promise you.
Mad Max is ready.
Already out the gate. So,
yeah, shout out to him for the super chats. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shout out, Mad Max. What up, player?
No doubt. So
another chance for Mad Max to get educated by me. It's always time. It's always time for you to learn. Class in session.
He's already out there going crazy. We got 007 in the chat. Queens get the money. Have a good show, gentlemen. Appreciate you, man. TJ.
What up, 00?
DJ 38 Special Mother and Sonny, my top 5 album of the year. It is a dope album. Appreciate you, man, for the.
I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's top 5. I don't think it's that good.
We see that top 15-ish. Top 15-ish.
I can see it making our top 20 list so far this year.
Yeah, it's up there. So, fellas, let's get into it. Cool. We talked earlier, man. I know you want to get into this Michael Rubin comment that he made. I think this is going to be a good setup for tonight's show. We're going to do just a little light work for everybody tonight, but we got some heavy topics to really get into. And we want to start with that Michael Rubin comment that he made. Cool. I'm going to kick it over to you, bro.
Well, I was about to say, do you have the comment available for us to read?
I do not. I know what he said, though. He said it about 2 weeks ago. I know what he was talking about. It was more around just the rappers, really black rappers, always going at each other, like black on black crime. And he's talking about that there should be more unity in the African American rap community. And he said he started seeing all of that. He was seeing it in the interview. He had some people that was, of course, go back to his party. Like you saw the pictures of him and Mick Mill, like he hugging Mick Mill from the behind. Pause and shout out to Philly.
I think that was little baby.
The little baby too. He got little baby, Meek Mill, all those guys. But he was just saying pretty much cool that there's a lot of tension between black artists in the hip hop community, and that needs to end. And some other comments on the side of that was saying that he doesn't reserve the right to share that opinion. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that.
May I?
Absolutely.
This is a classic scenario of why a lot of blacks don't trust white people and don't like to let white people get comfortable with them. Because there is a class of whites that get comfortable with black people, and most of those black people are affluent, wealthy, famous, on TV, on film. And it makes them think that they have a closer look into our diaspora. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a classic case of that, in my opinion. And so I can't sit here and tell you today that I'm surprised, because I'm not. It sounds like something who's gotten really, really comfortable with black people, mostly wealthy ones, and black culture, feels comfortable making comments that, quite frankly, he knows nothing about. Like he actually knows nothing about this culture outside of the James Hardens and Lil Babies, and there's just so much more to the black experience here in America. And there's some fundamental historical context missing, in the sense that, well, if you knew anything about what's been done to us in this country, those of us of color and in the indigenous variety, specifically by people who look like you, well, we've been pitted against each other for a long time. And I've spent a large portion of my adult life talking about the psychological ramifications of those things, because they're real. Mm-hmm. And so it just seems lost. It seems out of touch. He's not as connected as he thinks. And it's really, really disappointing, because I wonder how many of these quote unquote black friends of his are going to come to his next all-white party. That's going to be the real fascinating thing to see.
Oh, they're still going, cool.
Yeah, they're still be there.
Still going. That's the crazy thing about it. They're still going to go. They don't see this as a threat to them, because it's all about, right now, it's all about access. He gives them access. He gives them clout. He gives them
access to what?
Just what that world. It's that like that. They look at it as a level up. You know what I mean? Like, you get a chance to get into that room, whatever that room may be. Okay. You get a chance to get into that room.
I don't know how safe that room is. That would be my problem. I don't know how safe that room is.
Exactly.
Well, that's my thing. I took it as face value, right? Talking about that particular quote unquote room. When you're around, like, imagine being in those rooms with certain conversations with these artists and affluent, black, businessmen and stuff, talking about how much money they could get if they, join forces together versus, beefing or, tearing each other down or what have you. And Michael over on the sideline being present for a lot of these conversations. You know what I mean? And if you're present for certain conversations, even though you're not part of that conversation, you feel like you can take that conversation elsewhere, that you can chime in on your 2 cents. So that's how I looked at it. Like, he's been present for a lot of these combos, and then he thought when somebody was interviewing him, then he can throw his hat into the ring and just, give his opinion on it, because he's been around for a lot of these conversations. And, in a lot of ways that's tone deaf, but like Coop said, you get in certain situations where you're meant to, feel really comfortable. So, and who knows, he might have openly shared those same sentiments in front of the people that's in the room with him. You know what I mean? So if they didn't, check that in the inside of the room, then he's going to feel comfortable giving that opinion outside of the room.
No doubt.
So that goes back to the cosign that a lot of black people give certain white people and let them know that it's like cool. And the reality of the matter is just it's never really that cool.
Certain issues you just stay away from and don't speak on.
Yeah,
it's a code. It's a code to certain things.
Well, it's
for some
code, but also decorum.
Right.
And
right.
Things like this make me uncomfortable when it's happening in a year like this, where a man whose stereotypes and biases are very, very blatant and obvious is running for office and in the lead to win in office. So timing is also everything too. It's not happening at a good time.
Right. But like you said, that decorum, it goes beyond like race, because just say for instance, like I said, I'm out of town handling some family business, and we all got families. But if you have some inner workings of your families that's not where it should be, when you're handling family business and you're talking about the certain things amongst family, that's family business. But somebody that's at a function that's not part of the family, and then they go outside of your family, and then they want to throw in their opinion on how your family should be conducting family business. They can't say that. You can say that about your own family, but they can't say that when they step outside of that realm. So you know what I mean? I think it goes to that decorum, like you said.
But we make it comfortable for them to feel that way,
right? Like nobody black feels comfortable saying like, well, all country singers be beating their wives. You know what I'm saying? Like what? No. Black people don't walk around saying stuff like that. We don't be like the rock stars be sharing the same broads. We don't do that like culturally to them. That's because there's a level of discomfort for us for even being involved in their business like that, which too is psychological.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. I treat that with
and then you got to know the genesis of that too. You can't just throw that out there as a blanket statement, not knowing the genesis of where that came from.
Yeah, it's not an arbitrary thing or a generational thing. It's not.
Right.
It's a historical thing when you speak in this manner.
Absolutely
correct. So, and they're at the helm at it more than we are ourselves. You know what I mean? That was programming.
Next year at the white party, sensitivity and diversity training, you ignorant motherfucker. That's training.
You don't care. You don't care because he know at the end of the day they're still going to show up, still ask for favors, still want the clout. They still want to say, "Yo, I've been to the white party."
I still don't know. I'm not joking when I say I still don't know what he does and how this became a thing.
It's a thing.
He's the owner of Fanatics.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. Oh, yeah? He's a billionaire, right? AG, isn't he a billionaire? He's a billionaire. Yeah. Got status. And what rappers want? They want, a lot of these young rappers want. They want status. They want to be attached to something like that. Just to say they're attached to it. No,
go hang around LeBron or Magic or Mike or KD. Like those guys. Like those guys are either billionaire or approaching billionaire status. Like go kick it with plenty of.
They're hanging around them too. Bron hangs around these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a nasty well.
I don't know if it's a nasty well. I just don't know how safe we are in the room. It's not a safe place. We need a panic room. We need a panic room for that place. Place. Like in case of emergency, my black ass can go down here, and I'm safe from these crazy white people that think they know what they're talking about. Panic room for the safe place. Does a panic room make it a safe place?
That's right, Eddie Spence. He was the Sixers owner as well.
Right. Yeah, and I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. And I hate to bring this back up, but Drake was at that party, right? And I read online that they wasn't allowed to play, the Kendrick "Not Like Us" record at the party, with him in attendance. So my question is, do you still come out and say that statement if a good friend of yours is not the one on the losing end of a battle? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking at it like. You know what I mean? Because if he's attending his parties, he's good friend with Drake. Drake's on the losing end, and he's a punching bag right now. do you come out and say like, oh, they need to just get along and, stop tearing each other down? You know what I mean? If he's on the winning side of that, do you come out and say that? That's what I'm wondering.
I think he still does this in spite of that, but that might have been the tipping point that made him finally comfortable enough to say something. Like this happens at some other point in time, I feel like. Even if it doesn't happen today, he's going to do this at some point. Oh, man, it was going so well. And then Sean came back.
That is crazy.
It's like we picked up the full court press on the show. And then Sean took us back into the 1980s with the post game.
That was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. Evidently, according to Anthony Edwards, nobody in that era had any skill, just Jordan.
Don't get me started on that, man.
Larry
Bird and Dr. J would bust Ant for like 50 if they were playing in modern day times. He was like a rookie, and they'd be like, "What'd he say?" Yeah. He said, "What?" Okay,
they're a little boy.
Tight.
Yeah,
tight.
Yeah.
Isaiah would have dropped like 40 and 15 on him.
Yeah. I can't stand this era, man. I really can't.
I can't stand.
I keep trying to tell y'all, it's these punk ass kids.
Yeah. Every last one.
Tell y'all. Keep trying to tell you.
It's nasty out here, man. It's ugly outside, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. The further we get away, we're going to talk about this later, but the further we get away from like the essence, the worse it gets, because everything's getting lost in translation. The media is creating new narratives that doesn't really exist, and the narratives are jacked up. So we don't know what's true and what's false at this point, because now they're putting their own stink on it. You know what I mean? Which makes no sense. We're going to talk about that with the PB versus Mike Jack. People in the chat going crazy about that. So let's get a big Sean real quick, and then we're going to hop into that because they're going crazy right now.
I'll tell you why they're going crazy in a minute. Can't wait.
I think that they'll go like this. Yeah, they're going like all in the chat right now. So let's get to the Big Sean. Big Sean just dropped that single. We thought it was going to be an EP. Cool. When we had our show last Thursday night, we thought it was going to be an EP. We thought it would be more than just a single. But he just dropped a single with Alchemist, and it looks like he's trying to get some steam going. The video concept and everything was dope. I thought that the song was pretty dope. I'll be honest with you guys. I wanted to hear more. If I'm being completely honest, I wanted with him and Alchemist and looking up the actual interview and how good the interview really was. I wanted the song, the music to match that kind of energy, and I was just left with like, I'm be honest. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times and then go back to it. It's a dope song, dope record, but it's nothing to make me be like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. I didn't get that feeling. Am I wrong for that? Or y'all feeling a different way? I just didn't get that. It was kind of blah to me, to be quite honest.
I like the record, but I think it might be one of those that sounds better in the context of the album. I'm just waiting to hear the whole project. You know what I mean? Like, I know we come from an era where singles get you prepped for an album, see the direction and, get you anticipating the whole project. But now I'm at a place like I just want to hear the whole project, how it flows, is it cohesive? Does it, fit the theme, whatever. So I'm chalking this one up as probably in the context of the album, it might be better.
Cool. You made a comment to me earlier today, man, on the phone. You were saying something about Big Sean and timing. I want you to talk about that real quick, if you don't mind, man, because I had a chance to think about that. And it hit me pretty hard when you said it, because I didn't think about it that way. But you were talking about timing.
Yeah, he might have missed his time and his opportunity to seize the day, because if you look at the last 5 years. Well, J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick, none of them have great albums to speak of in this time.
Right.
J. Cole's got some solid ones. Drake's got some solid ones. Kendrick's got Not Like Us and not much else.
You can't help it. You cannot help it. Y'all talk about me. Like, that was.
Hey, like how long you been holding on to that one?
Yeah, that was a buddy move. That's what Joe did.
I can tell the way you said it.
That was a joke.
Hold water for a minute.
I can tell the way he said it. That's like when you practice a new move and then you get ready to go to the basketball court and use it for the first time.
Right.
Definitely
And you
working
get
on
to
my
the
Allen
stop
Iverson
line,
crossover.
pull it off.
Definitely working on the crossover.
Oh man.
But all tongue in cheek and jestful and playful like things aside, those three guys really haven't dropped anything that would tell you that they have the game in the chokehold in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think in the last 5 years is really when Sean's opportunity really was to maybe like build that momentum, put himself more in the conversation. I could throw Future in that conversation in terms of people that really haven't made a super impactful album. Like We Can't Trust You is the best thing he's made in quite some time.
I agree. I agree with that, Coop. I'm not disagreeing when I'm saying this, but J. Cole, he really put himself in position to be at the top until the apology was based on features, not even because we were singing his praises based off features. He didn't even have to come with a crazy dope project.
No. I said that he needed to conclude this epic feature run with a classic album. I've been saying that from the jump. You're not just gonna like what it's like that shit Missy say on Ladies Night. You ain't just gonna be using me for singing hooks and shit.
Right.
You're not about to do me like that. You're not about to just hit me with these 16s and these 24s and these 32. You're not doing that.
Right.
No. Because that's not how we operate on that level.
Right.
And so even though Cole in a lot of people's eyes has been the man since the apology in terms of what you hear from an MC, and I totally understand why, because it's valid. Sean missed his moment to put himself in the fray of all of this in the last 5 years, because I don't feel like what he's doing right now is getting the attention that it deserves. Because what I hear, and I agree with you on this, AG, I hear somebody that it potentially is making songs that sound better in the format of an album than has a standalone, and that would be a reversal in nature about how he typically makes music, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
but he probably had to pivot and call some audibles with the leak of his album. So what we're seeing now is probably like a reaction to what happened versus his original plans. So I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt on that front.
Do you think the leak is going to hurt the album?
Ultimately, yes. And the timing. I think it's a combination of the timing.
I mean, see, this is what I'm trying to express is that when you're talking about timing, you're talking about like in the last 6 months to a year. Like I'm talking about like the last 60 months.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're right on that.
I don't feel like he's done enough. Like the way that he's been talking lately, because I've been sitting back and thinking about it too, Sean, and I'm like, well, all those guys make substantially more work than you outside of Kendrick. Like Future, Cole, and Drake, like catalog-wise, are so far ahead of you in terms of material.
He alluded to that, though, on his interview with Charlamagne, that his work ethic wasn't quite what it needed to be considered with those other guys. In so many words, that's what he said.
But the impact of his output is not there as well. Even when he put in work, the impact is not as impactful as guys.
Well, I think now we have a connective tissue, Sean, because I think maybe it hasn't been producing to the prime results because the work ethic hasn't been prime, and he's nice with it, but he's not one of those supremely gifted guys that can get away with that necessarily.
Right. I was talking to
AG, where are you at? Are you in Korea? Are you in North Korea getting spring rolls? What is going on?
They're looking for me, Coop.
You in Chinatown? Yeah, West Virginia has a Chinatown.
Yeah, y'all crazy. But
AG is doing the podcast from the projects.
Yeah, man. There's a lot going on. I was going to say this. A lot is going on right now.
It's the project window.
Dogs barking in the back. Her wolves out and hair growling. Like I don't even know what's going on.
AG is probably like the Wayne Brady skit on the Dave Chappelle show, like when the show is over.
Yeah.
Trying to tell you that I really am low key. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, I was actually talking to one of my homies about this, and he said Big Sean's problem is that he's just not interesting to people. Like it's nothing that outside of his skill and there's nothing in his artistry that like really draws the fan in. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he's missing, that it factor, because he can rap with any of them.
We said it before. Lyrics are there, voice and tone and cadence and all those things.
Yeah, it says good production.
Good production, but that's all we can say. Production, lyrics, everything else is and. There's a wild.
You know what he is?
He don't stand out.
He's an A-level talent with B-level results. Like his talent is A-level.
Talent is there. Talent is definitely there.
I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna make a comparison, and I really want to preface this by this is not me being disrespectful at all, because this is one of my favorite rappers of all time. So this is no disrespect, but I feel like it's comparable to AZ, because we look at AZ and his skill set and we question like, yo, why did AZ never like blow up? He's rapping alongside Nas, smooth Brooklyn guy. You know what I mean? Like it's just that it's just something that he was lacking charisma wise, personality wise, it factor that didn't draw the people in to make your household name. And I think Sean suffers from that.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think Sean is somebody that likes his personal space, but I don't find him to be introverted the way AZ is introverted. AZ is introverted.
Okay, that's good.
Like if you're asking why AZ wasn't bigger, well, a lot of that's on AZ, because AZ didn't make the rounds like, in his prime, in his heyday, like he didn't really make the rounds like he should. Like look at somebody like Jay doing the Ha remix. That's what I mean when I'm talking about making the rounds. It's like, oh no, Jay was taking the extra steps to be where he wanted to be.
Right. Yeah. But when he was
put me on that. Like, yeah. Let me get
Let me get that fan base over here too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the game. I mean, Sean and I were having a conversation today about us location wise picking some places and going fucking with some independent artists, because well, we can't just rely on our followings in our hometowns and people that know us to get us where we need to go. We got to go to the people. Jarv, what up? Peace.
What up, Jarv?
You got to go where the people are. So it's like, A never really went to where the people went. You know what I'm saying? It's like when things left the tri-state area of New York, he really didn't. No, he really didn't go with it like that.
But with the backing of the firm, and when he was in those certain positions by default, like what I'm saying, when you standing next to Nas or standing next to Foxy or whatever, he could rap with him, but it was just something that he was lacking, and I think that's the situation with Sean.
I don't know if he was lacking anything other than making the rounds. I mean, he's the best rapper on the Firm album.
Absolutely.
He's the best MC on the Firm album. It's not even a question. He's the best MC on the Firm album.
And let's keep it funky. AZ always been a fly dude. Very charismatic.
But being fly and having star power are two totally different things.
Maybe not star power, but
during that time it fit the bill, because you didn't have to have that superstar status during that time. You just had to be fly and good at what you do. In this era of hip hop, you gotta have all of that. You gotta have some kind of star power. You gotta have some kind of draw. And I think Big Sean's draw is very bland, because no one gravitates to him like that. Everyone feels like we cannot question his pen, but we question his passion. We question his delivery.
Well, Coop said it on a couple of shows ago. We really don't know who he is through his music.
Yeah, we don't. He doesn't have an identity. There's nothing we can say. Well, he's that. And I think he tried those things, but for some reason it doesn't land. He never sticks to landing. For whatever reason, he doesn't stick to landing.
Because most rappers usually have some sort of lane that you can, you hate to pigeonhole people, but pause. But everybody fits in a certain lane, to a degree, and he doesn't fit in any certain lane that you can say, okay, this is what Big Sean is about.
Yeah,
I think for Sean, he's one of those people that I think that it's inside of him, but I don't know what's gonna like that album.
I was waiting on a pause, but
I was thinking about the pause. I was just gonna keep it going. If Sean was gonna say,
I wasn't going to look. I'm trying to do good now. I'm changing.
No. I'm glad that you're taking the steps that you need to do to rectify all of your issues.
I'm thinking different now. I'm breathing different. I'm eating different.
Not based on that box that you showed us, Sean. Before
You're
not doing anything differently. Pathologically lying to the people. That's another conversation for another day.
That's another one because I'm gonna go crazy.
We know. Please keep that to yourself. Moving forward about what you're gonna do in the shows. Yeah, keep that to yourself.
You know what I'm saying, great on his beard. I'm gonna go crazy.
But Sean is one of those people. I think Sean, there is some disappointment factor that plays in, because when you hear him rap, sometimes you hear somebody that can give you like that piece of work, and you never really get it, and it leaves you wondering. It's like, what is it going to take to bring that piece out of him? Because it's there, like he has it.
He definitely has it.
It just hasn't been put together in the complete package where we go, there it is. Like, oh my God, like I can't wait to hit. You know, he doesn't have that album where it's like you just got complained over and over.
It's just something missing though, because like, you know, I mess with Sean. I'm a Sean fan, but we was talking about, you know, the Hoopers, quote unquote, in the 80s and 90s, they didn't have no skill. Like Big Sean is like Mitch Richmond to me. You know he nice, but it's just something that like, you know what I mean? Like he don't get to do his just do. Nobody talks about him.
Right, limited skill tree. Got 1 or 2 moves, and that's his 1 or 2 moves. That's all he has. He doesn't have a bad getting.
Mitch Richmond's 1 or 2 moves got him about 22 to 26 points a game for like 8 years in a row.
And that was
still nobody talked about him.
No one talks about it. Yeah,
Michael Jordan talked about him. Michael Jordan talked about him.
Yeah,
because game recognized game, and people who are spitters recognize Sean. Like I said, he's right beside him. He's right beside Nas, Jay-Z, Kanye. Like Pusha T, game recognized game, but it's not translating to the fans.
And he's not getting washed. He's doing his thing. He's holding his own.
I mean, he's Mitch done Richmond numbers too. He's done numbers before, so it's not like there's not a fan base there, a legitimate one. Yeah, he's done numbers.
But I think he's also segregated his own fan base after that too, because out the gate he was attached to Kanye. They came off that big run. And
his identity was with Kanye and the music.
So do you feel like some of his fame and notoriety is attached to Kanye, and since the Kanye attachment that hasn't been the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I was just about to say, doing numbers and fanfare are 2 totally different things. Because you can do numbers, and your fans don't go to bat for you like they do the Coles and the Kendricks and the Drakes of the world. You know what I'm saying? Their fanfare that they have. So,
as Kanye and Good Records, Good Friday, and all that stuff dissipated, so did Sean. He took the major hit out of that entire camp. Everyone else was able to thrive even afterwards, because you still had 2 Chainz smoking on features.
Well, hold on.
Except Sci-Hi was the only one.
That's not fair to Sean, because all of those guys existed and thrived before Good Fridays and good music.
It did, but Good Fridays also kind of elevated them as well, because 2 Chainz run during that time was epic.
It's crazy.
It was crazy. His feature run during that time was all over the place. Like he was killing everything. It just was a different 2 Chainz. It wasn't Titty Boy no more. It was a different 2 Chainz.
Yeah. I think Sci-Hi is the only exception, because he never really got to take off.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say take off, it's like I look at Sci-Hi in a lot of the way, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I think he's a better MC, but I look at him in a lot of the same way as I look at Consequence. It's like, well, it doesn't matter how good you are, because of the people that you're around, you're never really probably going to get what it is that you deserve.
Yeah, and who you write for.
Because your best material is going to them. Look at Party Next Door and Drake.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened to Cons. Queens get the money. That's exactly what happened to Cons. He did the same thing. He went through the same situation. And he's nice. But some of his best stuff, best concepts, everything went to that big push that Jay had during that era.
Yeah.
It's hard to come back.
It is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Absolutely. So we'll see, man. The album should be coming out really soon. I think what, next month?
I expect the album to be one of his better projects. For me, I think Only thing left for him to do is to make a great album. So I'm looking forward to, even if this album isn't great, I think he's about to make his best project. I'd like to see that from him.
For his sake,
album that we'll look back
he has solid joints.
That's the best Big Sean project we got.
For his sake, I hope he does. Honestly.
Yeah. Honestly. But I don't know if that's enough to get him in that conversation.
I don't think so. I don't think they will allow him to get in that conversation.
If he made a top 5 album of the year this year, do you think that could do it?
No. He needs more than that.
What if it was album of the year? Would that be enough for you?
I don't think so.
Okay. No. So it's too late.
It's too late.
So that's what I mean about the time. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the time is passed.
And that's crazy. Even with Cole stopped plummeting, that he still can't get in.
If Cole drops a great album, it doesn't have to be an album of the year. It can just be a really good album. Cole's back in that conversation.
No, stop telling people that it's okay.
No, I'm with Sean because all he got to do is secure that bronze medal. That's all he got to do.
That's all he got to do. It's there for him. That bronze medal is there for him, honestly. Mm-hmm. No one else going to leapfrog. No one else can leapfrog.
I like to quote Pusha T when I say, when you used to platinum, that gold looked like bronze. Yeah.
But Cole get whatever he can get.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that bronze medal shit from J. Cole. All right? Not trying to hear that. Not trying
That's
to hear
the best he can get.
That's the best he can get right now, Cool.
He ain't going to get no silver or gold at this point.
And don't let Drake drop something else in between time.
That's the difference between where Sean is and where J. Cole is. I feel like if J. Cole were to make the best album of his career, he can still get in that conversation. Big Sean can make the album of his career, and we're still not. I mean, at best, is he what, the 5th of his era? After Drake, Cole, and Future.
That's being generous. You're giving him 5th.
Nah,
I said at best. I said at best.
Yeah.
If you throw Nicki in there, it might be 6.
Okay, he's out.
He's out of that.
He's out. Honestly,
he missed his time. He's honestly probably missed his time.
So really, he's the one that should have. And when I thought about it today when we got off the phone, Sean, I thought to myself, I was like, damn. I was like, I know I'm usually right, but I'm really right about this one. This nigga should have been making material the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's like I'm used to being right all the time. But there are those times when you are extra right. And I said, today is the day where I'm extra right. I was like, because this nigga should have been making material and mixtapes and albums over the last 3, 4, 5 years. His career could be looked at totally differently because of it. It's like, when all those other dudes started slacking off, Sean actually picked up the pace. We should put him in the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I was like, Coop might be finally right.
Okay.
I should have said it.
Next segment. No, great way to end the segment. All things said by Sean aren't reflective of the panelists, behind the scenes producers, originators, thought provocateurs of hip hop talks.
I'm just here to support.
Like you to click like and subscribe to the page.
Like and subscribe, please.
If you see Sean isolate himself on the screen, please put thumbs down so we can get back on the screen.
Yo.
This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Coop, AG, and the good people at Hip Hop Talks, not named Sean.
Yo, no one is saying anything about AG being in a hotel that Scarface killed dude in the bathtub at because something just don't look right in the back. It definitely looks like he's about to shoot somebody with a machine. In the bathtub, man. It just don't look right.
No.
Something is off, man. I don't want to just elephant in the room. I want to just elephant in the room. He's looking around, looking up, like somebody is going to flash him. Yo, because AG got wandering eyes, man. You got to watch that guy. Let me get the super
I can't deal with y'all, man.
DJ the Kid just got here. Sidebar. I just did my second Toastmaster speech, and they said I did even better than my first. I made them feel something. That's all, guys. Yo, shout out to CJ the Kid, man. That's some good stuff, bro. Keep it selling, bro. Keep it selling. Tracy, did he really say Dot got not like us and not much else? That whole quotable. Yo, Tracy,
I still got
Coop had that written down in his notes for like 3 weeks.
He still got bars in me.
He was holding it. He was holding it. Pause.
Still got bars.
CJ the Kid again. Big Sean, the comment of his era. Ugh. Albums that don't have the moments of the top 5 of his era.
No, I'm not gonna do that to Common. Common got classics.
Common had a moment. Common had a moment with B. B was his B was his one.
He has more than just B.
Yeah, but
he has more than B.
He was the one that kind of brought him back. Like that was the one.
Yeah.
No, I'm with Sean AG. I feel like without B, you can't even talk about him in those conversations, even though he has other stuff. Without B, I don't feel like you can have those conversations that you have about him. Like, because
B brought him to a new audience.
It brought him to a new audience, but I felt like it brought him to a new stature of MC and MCing, quite frankly.
Yeah,
where
it did.
He's ascended to like that Ghostface, Ice Cube, Scarface type of level of an MC, and I consider that to be a top 10 caliber MC. And I feel like B did that for him to the point that no, he can be in a conversation with those guys, but his era does consist of Nas and Tupac, and Biggie, and Jay-Z, and Redman, and Prodigy, and Raekwon, and Ghost.
That's a lot.
Yeah, like he's got a lot up against him. He's around Ice Cube's prime too. He's coming out during Ice Cube's prime.
Yeah,
Scarface. So he's around a lot of the guys. So saying that he's not top 5 for his era isn't the type of slight that it is to Sean. You feel what I'm saying?
Correct.
Not the same type.
It was way heavier back then. Way heavier.
Yeah, man, heavy metal jacket.
But B is the perfect storm of his own talent ascending, plus the Kanye effect. It was the perfect storm because we can't discount the fact that the Kanye effect,
he was at his peak at the time, peak of his powers. Absolutely.
So, but we'll see what Sean has in store.
Yeah, we'll see.
No doubt.
So, fellas, let's get to what the chat is talking about. They're talking about this interview that Tank had. Not really an interview, but more of just some ear bites that he had on the Stephen A. Smith show, and then he doubled down on the show, where he made a comment saying that Chris Brown is better than Mike Jack. Now, I went back and listened to it a couple of times, and I had to really understand where he was coming from. He was talking more so vocally. Of course, he was talking from a position of dancing and just being able to produce and write material. So he was pretty much saying that Chris Brown is the one. Like he's the greatest of all time, and that he's definitely ahead of Michael Jackson. So I want you guys to react because I thought about this a lot, today after I had a chance to listen to it over and over and kind of understand where he's coming from. I think Tank is smoking Tank. So I don't know what he's on right now, but I get it because he's
He needed some pub.
Yeah. And Chris is boy, CB his boy. CB his boy. So of course he's going to show love to CB. But he was talking more about evolution. He was saying that Chris Brown is the evolution of Michael Jackson, of Prince, of Usher, and everyone else. He's saying Chris Brown is the evolution of all of that, which I still think. But I want to get
can evolve, but that don't necessarily. It always means that it's better once it evolves. So that. You mind if I go, Coop? I'm not gonna be long. I'm just gonna leave it right here like this. Go ahead, Coop.
Because I am going to go a while. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, for the dancing aspect, Mike, we don't get Chris if we don't have Mike. Mike's smoother with it. Chris took it to a whole nother level when crump dancing was like popular and he added stuff into the mix or whatever, the acrobatics, the athleticism and stuff. But, give me the original article. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I do think Chris is up there, but I'm not going to put him over Mike. But just because something evolved don't mean it's better. Far as writing, Michael didn't write a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? Especially the classic material. You had Rod Temperton, penning a lot of this stuff. So if you want to do the songwriting thing, I'm not mad at that if he wants to give that to Chris. But as far as vocalists, and this might be a hot take, but I think the child version of Mike in the Jackson 5 is the greatest vocalist of all time. Him particularly as a child. I don't think anybody is seeing that guy vocally.
Whitney Houston's.
I'm seeing that.
Well, you got Whitney Houston.
Whitney.
Yeah,
Whitney.
Yeah, you got Whitney up there. Whitney's up there. But if I'm separating the male and female,
prime Whitney to me vocally, there's nobody touching that.
Yeah, that's Whitney. I'm more so talking about like, from male genre, you know what I mean, versus female. Whitney's Whitney. She in the class by herself. But I think vocally when he was a kid, that was his prime. He still had those vocal chops when he was older, but I think when he was a kid, that was his prime. And I don't think anybody as a male has topped that vocally since. But that's just my opinion.
I disagree vehemently.
I disagree too.
Who do y'all got vocally better as a male?
There's many. Before we even get to the Chris Brown and Mike Jack, Chris Brown got to leapfrog too many people to get to that point, bro. And he's not even leapfrogging Usher, in my opinion. And I'm gonna give it to Coop.
Usher's up there.
He's not touching Usher overall, in my opinion. Not even close.
No.
As far as vocalists,
I think you get Usher on the dance tip, but not vocally.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, dancing,
and not on songs.
Yeah, dancing, yes, but songs. You're talking about hits. You're talking about albums. About classic albums. I'm not talking about a bunch of. I'm not talking about quantity. I think people confuse Chris Brown quantity with quality. And look. I don't want this to be like let's bash Chris to elevate Mike or elevate others that we may feel that's a little bit better. It's just more of what Tank is talking about is saying the evolution of an artist and someone like Chris, who has vocals. He's talking about unreleased songs that no one heard that he heard, and some say Chris left Earth with all of this. It's weird stuff, weird talk, right? From another artist that supports another artist. Here's my thing, fellas, and I'm gonna throw it to you, Cool. Here's my thing. Yes, Mike is one of one. I don't think you should compare Mike to anybody at this point. He should be one of those guys like Michael Jordan. You cannot compare these guys to anyone anymore. Prince, Mike, these guys are solidified. They're out of this world. They're aliens. They're different. They're the anomalies of R&B, of music in general. Not just R&B, but just music in general. What they've done for the culture of music.
Real quick to your point, we had an evolution of Michael Jordan with Kobe, but that don't mean Kobe was better. But he was the evolution.
And Chris Brown, not even the evolution of Michael Jackson. So cool. I'm gonna throw it to you because I want us to have a discussion about this because we're missing, we're leapfrogging too many greats to get him to the great, and we need to have a conversation about that.
I think the first conversation that we need to have is about Tank's apparent drug problem. We need to get Tank some help. Very obvious to me.
You been hanging out with Genuine?
Tank, look here. I don't care what he say. Tank sniffed the whole 8-ball by himself before he went on the live.
Yeah,
did the whole 8-ball. He's like, Stephen A, I'll be out in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely hit the ski slopes. We need to pray for Tank. Might need an intervention. Because I'm going to tell you something. Here's how I look at it. Let's take it down to a street level. If I were to give you a pack, and the pack was called Michael Jackson, and if I was to give you another pack, and the pack was called Chris Brown, who really gonna move weight out here? Somebody got a pack called Mike Jack.
It's not even close.
You taking the Mike Jack, you taking the Chris Brown.
It depends on what it's going to be.
What we talking about? Sean mentions Scarface that Coop's talk gets crazy.
Yeah.
What we talking about? What's the name of the dope? That's that Mike Jack. Give me that.
What it do to you.
That's what all the fiends are going to be smoking tonight.
Oh, Andrew put in the chat that Stevie's better as a vocalist.
That's crazy. So to AG's point right quick, I do want to say, I think Mike actually had one of the longest vocal primes that anybody ever had. Because I feel like his prime literally goes pretty much from the Jackson 5 stuff all the way to Invincible. Like his scat and falsetto on Butterflies.
Falsetto's crazy.
His scat and falsetto on Butterflies alone, it's like, no, that's like the 50-year-old version of him. Like he's been, so vocally, he's as flawless in his train over a duration of time as anybody that we've seen, male or female. And so a lot of the things that you would give LeBron credit for in terms of the endurance of what he's done, you probably have to say the same thing about Mike vocally. Because although I think Whitney's a better singer, she wasn't as great a singer as long as Mike was the greatest singer. You get what I'm saying? Whitney had about a 10-year stretch where she was the best singer we ever heard. Mike sang like that for about 30, 35 years, y'all.
Easily.
Like at that top level.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going out and getting 25 points every time you know what I'm saying, there's a game. Because, well, you know, he sings for a living. So, you know, sings and dances for a living. So the voice matters. And so I would tell you that his voice is up there just for the duration of time that his voice wowed us. I think his peak is off the wall vocally. I hear a guy vocally that can do anything. I felt like that was when his voice was the strongest, but also like the softest at the same time because of the falsetto.
It matured a little bit. My favorite is, like I said, the Jackson 5 era, but you know,
Yeah,
when it matured, he could do more things with it. You know?
He could do more when it
Right.
matured. That's what I mean. So it might not be that classic like voice that he had before, but the levels that he could do, like on a run, like he could do the runs, be like, go to bass, go to soprano, go to alto, hit your falsetto, Mike. He could do all of that and like do it seamlessly. So that guy is one of the best singers ever. This is really not fair to Chris Brown, actually. I know people think I'm going to go off, and it really pissed me off for a while. And then I thought about it. It's like, well, who this is really not fair to is Chris Brown.
Right. He's not asking for this. He's not going out and saying himself.
You could play.
I think he would tell you otherwise.
You could play Chris Brown's 30 best songs, and every song that he has would lose to every song on Off the Wall and Thriller alone. Like all of his best stuff, like his best stuff and Mike's best stuff. It's not the same level. And so I understand everybody wants to have heroes and legends and icons for their era, and everybody wants to say that their guy or girl is that guy or girl for the era, but it's just not true.
Yeah, but Tank is older than us, so he know, and he's a musician.
First of all, we're gonna call a hotline when we're done to get Tank some help. I don't think you understand.
I mean, we're in an era where people say salacious stuff just to get, you know, a headline.
He believes it.
And you know what this is really doing? This is taking away from Chris Brown's run, because this is Chris Brown's time right now.
It is.
And instead of letting him have his time, we're trying to compare him to a person, even though I think Prince is the greatest artist of all time. If we were to take a poll of who the greatest musical artist of all time is, I'm pretty certain Michael Jackson will win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so when you're comparing him to somebody that if we were to like to take a vote, you know, not that bullshit electoral college shit we're about to see in November.
Oh boy.
Not that. But if we were to take a real vote of real people, he would be the guy most people would choose, and not just in the United States. Around the world, he would win. Around the world, he would win that poll. And
so Chris is better. He could have just said Chris is the, you know, one of the greatest dancers, singer, whatever all time, and just left Mike out of it. You know what I mean?
Why can't he just be the greatest for this generation first, and then we can have a conversation about it later? Like, let's let it actually unfold. Now, what he has against him is I don't see no Off the Wall or Thriller or Bad anywhere on his horizon.
Not even
so to
close.
think that that's about to happen is absurd. It's not happening.
What is his best album? What is his best album?
His best album is at Dangerous level. His best albums are Dangerous level, and that's why this is the conversation.
I'm with cool because this talk is where you leapfrog Usher is similar to the GOAT talk where everybody want to put Brown with Jordan and then leave Kobe out of the conversation. I think it's disrespectful to Usher too to leapfrog Usher and then just put him up there with MJ.
We didn't have these conversations when Usher had his run, and Usher was on stage dancing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was alive.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No hologram, nigga.
Just like when Kobe was on the court playing against MJ. You know what I mean?
Usher really was dancing next to Mike. Like, it was really like that for Usher in Usher's prime. And so Chris Brown didn't get that. But even though we got that, none of us were walking around here talking about, man, you know, Usher got Mike. None of us thought that. And Usher's albums are better than Chris Brown's albums.
Yeah. Chris doesn't have an 8701 or Confessions.
Or My Way.
On My Way. He just doesn't have those.
Usher's 3 best albums are crushing Chris Brown's 3 best albums. crushing.
Yep.
Easily.
And Usher's not operating on mic level. So what does that tell you about the level?
He's not vocally or anything.
Very high level.
He's not. He's not.
Very high level. When you're talking about Michael
And that's
Jackson,
okay because they're great in their own right.
Like Michael Jackson only gets like you should when you're talking Michael Jackson, it's like no, you're talking Stevie Wonder, Prince.
Yeah, you got up the end. Like, you got to go a little bit higher.
Yeah, like
it's a different class. It's a different room.
Yeah, you're like you know how they're like there should be like a hall in the Hall of Fame, and like the Hall of Fame, like there's like if it's the NFL Hall of Fame, it's like well there's the room that like Tom Brady. And Jim Brown and Walter Payton and Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders and Reggie White, like the hall that they're on is different than the other halls.
Right.
Yeah.
The plane that Michael Jackson, no, that's a different plane, brother. Like like R. Kelly didn't get that high. I mean, he got that high because he did what he did, but he didn't get that high in terms of stature.
You don't have to elaborate.
He's the nigga that had it in a video.
We got it. We get it. No, we got you.
His problem is that he was given the cocaine. That was his problem.
He believed he could fly.
I bet he did. But I bet he believed he could do anything.
Inmates. Listen, he tearing it up in prison order. Listen, he doing some concerts in prison like crazy.
Yeah, what's the next topic, man?
He has to stay alive. He has to stay alive. Of course he
does. They said Kelsey and destroying it right now, man. They said he's singing songs that we never heard before, like that we would never get released. Just imagine. I don't want to imagine.
Because he probably sung him the 14th.
Yeah, y'all think he doing the best of both worlds intro in there?
Yo, the best of both worlds intro was crazy, man. Like, you got to stop.
I love the best of both worlds intro.
That was
I know that would be my lead off joint.
Best of both worlds.
Does he close out his prison? Does he close out his prison shows with "Feeling on Your Booty" or "Seems Like You're Ready"? No.
Feeling Beautiful is crazy though. You can't sing that in there though. You cannot imagine R. Kelly pulling out dum 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 in the prison. Like, imagine that is dropping.
Man, that's wild.
Yo, that jumped me crazy in West Virginia though. Max says CB is an Usher. Forget MJ. Facts. The raisin head. I'm sorry. Prime KC sings better than Mike. Yo, I love KC.
That's KC. A wild take.
KC is a bad man.
Prime KC is a better singer than Usher and Chris Brown.
Prime KC, absolutely.
Not a better performer, but singer, yeah. KC
is not Mike.
KC left Earth all my life. Mad Max. Say Chris Tito. Could he make Jackson 5? I don't know if he made Jackson 5, man. Tito was decent on that guitar, man. Hey, don't sleep on Jermaine Jackson. Do what you do.
Jermaine was a good singer. He was a good singer,
man. Jermaine left Earth on that joint. I will listen to that today, matter of fact. Like,
you know,
I promise you, it's yo, really, yo.
What you need not do is come on Hip Hop Talks and talking about how you just listened to Jermaine Jackson's album.
I got all that Jermaine Jackson. Can y'all see it?
Jermaine
Jackson. I don't want to see it. I would listen to the best of Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah, you know what my joint was.
Between the box and you listening to 1983 Jermaine Jackson, I'm not comfortable anymore. This is an uncomfortable place.
Yo, Jermaine Jackson is a
I want sponsorship, and with my sponsorship, I'm going to give us a HR, a human resources, and I'm going to call on Sean every week.
But listen to Jermaine Jackson?
So they fire him.
Yo, y'all remember Can You Feel It? That was the joint. You know what I'm saying? That's what used to go crazy.
Can You Feel It? Shit. The Can You Feel It's different. That's different.
It was different. It was different.
Yeah.
That video was about 30 minutes long, man. But
they was throwing out that dust.
I used to get my grandmother's.
They was on that dust. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, Blame It on the Boogie. That's another classic.
Yeah, that was You
know what my joint is? Let Me Show You the Way to Go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a banger.
I don't even know Chris Brown to get into that. Like straight up, you can't clear Jermaine Jackson.
When you talking Mike, you talking about like You just have to be a bigger icon. There's no other way around it. So like, let's see if he ascends to that stature.
Yeah, he made Thriller, man.
Yeah, let's let him. Let's let him
He
actually.
killed the guitar on like, can you feel it though? That guitar riff was crazy. I ain't even gonna hold
it. Kobe got 5 rings. LeBron got 4 rings, right? So in a lot of people's minds, that puts them close to Mike. But a lot of us feel like, no, that don't put you close to Mike. I saw Mike. I saw you. You're not as close to Mike.
It's different.
Not close to Mike. Right. Like there's a gap that exists even between Mike and LeBron to me, and Mike and Kobe to me. Like, no, there's a gap.
That's a huge.
Here's all you need to know. LeBron and Kobe combined got 9 championships to Jordan's 6. But if you take all the other accolades, Jordan got more than both of them combined. That's all you need to know.
In a shorter time.
Right.
Mad Max, Kobe was an evolution. He was a great value version of MJ, and evolution means you're a better model, like Nas to Rakim, or Pun to G-Rap, or J to Big Daddy Kane. They're the 2.0 of the artist before Kobe is Diet MJ.
You're not going to talk about the deceased.
Can't do that, Mad Max.
You need to watch your time.
Good.
You're not going to talk about
I disagree. To evolve doesn't necessarily mean to be better. It's just different.
Yeah, because the stuff I took was an evolution to me. Mad Max and Bean, my favorite player, grew up on him.
Like,
Magic. Have y'all listened to Logic's album? Still haven't listened to it, man.
No.
I'm struggling with that, Magic. I'm not going to front.
No, I'm gonna check the Logic project out.
I need to. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I'm listen to other stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Listen to Jermaine Jackson lately. I'm not gonna front.
The fact that you're listening to Jermaine Jackson instead of Logic while we're doing a hip hop podcast.
I know, man. I know. Cool. I feel like you're judging right now. I know.
Did you have a low Jerry curl Jermaine had too?
Oh, I wanted like a Jerry curl. My mother was like, "Nah, I want the X. I want the S curl." Remember the S curl came out when Special Ed had the S curl.
I have one.
I'm having Andrew edit all of this out the show.
I wanted the Special Ed S curl with the red dye. I wanted all of that. My mom's like, "Nah."
I'm just gonna be like, just letting you know now. Calling Andrew and be like, Andrew, when the Jerry curl conversation starts, cut out those 45 seconds, please.
Cool. You didn't want an S curl. You didn't want an S curl.
No. Never. Never.
I would have been man. It was like, you better get this shag and sit down somewhere. Get this shag with his rat tail and sit down.
And then with the taper, you know what I'm saying, the little Superman joint coming in the
I used to have the crazy parts going in my head. That was my thing. My thing was the crazy part.
Yeah.
My thing was the parts. I used to have crazy parts in my head. It looked like 75, 285, and 20 on my head. It looked like I had the whole freeway system for Atlanta.
I can see you with the parts in your head, but they can see
the crazy parts.
You had the Gumby, you know what I'm saying?
Coop probably had
that was 6 older brother Vici. Like, we looked at him and we were like, yeah, we're not doing that. I had a box for a little bit when the box was in. Remember when the box was in?
Oh yeah, high top fade. Had the design in the back. Had the Nike check, Jumpman, Batman symbol, Chicago Bulls. Had all kinds of stuff.
Fake ass Nike chain.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
Had the African medallion.
The Lion of Judah.
It was a nasty time.
Man, looking like X-Clan.
That's right.
Looking like Professor X.
Fake 4-finger rings, gold plated. It was a nasty time.
Nasty time. Yo, so let's talk about this Steve Stoute stuff, guys. Steve Stoute went on Joe Budden's show. I think it's a Patreon because the actual full-fledged show hasn't really released. But Queens get the money again. I've always enjoyed listening to Steve Stoute. Very bright guy, man. Hyper intelligent guy. And he was like really dropping some jewels, but there were some things that he was sharing about lyrics back in the day. And he was talking about how Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic didn't sell because the fans and the audience, they weren't gravitating to lyrics. They didn't care about lyrics. And he name dropped Cool G Rap. Of course, he name dropped Jay and Nas for Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic respectively. But he also was breaking it down by saying, even today, where you had artists who selling more records who are not as lyrically dense as the legends that we hold tight to. It wasn't in a disrespectful manner, but Steve is coming from a position of this was the reason why he wanted Nas to switch up to go to It Was Written, because he didn't want him to repeat what happened with Illmatic, because the fans, they love, it's a cult classic in some, it's more respect than anything. I mean, we're talking about Illmatic more today than they probably did years ago, just based on how we championed it now, because we know what kind of material it is. In real time, the hip hop heads felt like Illmatic was like, man, this is the second coming, like this is the one. But the masses didn't feel that way.
The legend had to grow.
It had, yeah. Nobody has two classic albums that have grown the way Nas's first two classic albums have grown in terms of their stature in the culture. So there was a time when it was in conversation with other classics from the era, and it separated itself from those classics over time. Like the Ready to Die, Illmatic conversation was a super big, realistic conversation for a very, very long time. Yes. It is not until the last 10 years that Illmatic has started to distance itself from Ready to Die, I think, in a lot of people's minds. It's been in the last 10 years that that's happening. Same thing with Reasonable Doubt, Southern Playalistic, Enter the Wu-Tang, The Low End Theory. I'm just going like East Coast classics that are like coming around and before and after. The Infamous, Only Built for Cuban Links. Yep. No, a lot of it was in conversation with those albums. It was argumentative for a lot of people. It's become less argumentative in the last 10 years, but that's because Illmatic's holding up better than all those albums, except for the Purple Tape, in my opinion. I would put the quality of like the value of those East Coast classics up on that level. And so what I think has happened over time is that when it comes to lyrics and lyricists, which Nas is, well, even when you're at your best, it's going to be a while before people realize you were the best. And I think that's the dangerous things about lyrics. And so are lyrics going to sell? In a vacuum, no. But if you're talking about running a marathon and not a sprint, yes. And so what Nas did was run a marathon.
Yep.
And because he ran the marathon instead of the sprint, and because he still makes albums and still tours and still does material, it gives people a chance, although he's not what I like to call a little baby level star for this era in terms of the streams and attention and stuff that he's going to garner and what he's going to get. What he's done is he's kept his legacy alive. And because he's kept his legacy alive, it's given his classics a chance to get more and more burn and more listen. And the more you listen to them, and the more generations listen to him over and over again, it's like, oh man, it's like this motherfucker was ahead of his time. You know,
takes the fans a little bit of time to catch up.
And the music is catchier than I thought, and his hook game is better than I thought, and these songs are better than I thought, and it just kind of grows and grows and grows. And I think that's the thing about it when it comes to lyrics. It's not necessarily instant gratification. Is Illmatic an instant classic? Yes. Was it in conversation for greatest rap album of all time when it came out? No. Even on its review, it said, this is one of the best rap albums I've ever heard. Not the best, one of the best.
Right.
As in, it's in contention with The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick, It Takes a Nation, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, Midnight Marauders, Low End Theory, Straight Outta Compton, The Chronic, Doggy Style, Enter the Wu-Tang. Like, it's in conversation. It's not the album. In a lot of respects, it's become the go-to album. And so when we're talking about lyrics and hip-hop, I think what Illmatic really did was reset the standard. Not set it, but reset it. And I think that's part of its lore, because other albums that are comparably lyrically inclined are not as revered. And so Stoute is right to a degree, because Illmatic is that landmark lyrical album, and it still didn't sell.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it came to, I'm sorry, let me get this Mad Max real quick.
No, you don't have to do that. It's Mad Max. Just skip over him. We'll keep going.
Mad Max looking us up. Yo, Mad Max. Lyrics accept the longevity of your song, but they don't matter when making a great song. That's why Illmatic lasted. It had great beats. Nas has a great voice, had a great flow, so his lyrics kept it thriving. Mad Max also stated, but if your beat mid, voice weak and flow trash, nobody care about your lyrics because you're not entertaining enough for us to care about it. Care about what you got to say. Lyrics are a jab in boxing or a midi in basketball. Good point. Good point.
You know, I'm glad that I have raised Mad Max to this point where he is making coherent and intelligent thoughts.
So you raised Mad Max is crazy.
Wow. That's
great.
Wild.
I'm glad. I'm glad he's going on this journey. Mad Max has learned so much from me that it's ridiculous.
He has another.
I'm glad that he has taken this knowledge and started to apply it.
We appreciate the super chats, Max.
You can be somebody, Mad Max. I believe in you.
We appreciate you, bro. And Mad Max said again, and this is why people like Dot is whack and Rhapsody is whack. This is from the Trio Coop is whack. They pick whack beats, have boring or whack voices, weak flow. No one can care about their lyrics.
And just like that.
Just like that.
I feel like a proud teacher. Like we're done here. F for the class. Mad Max,
on the loins of Coop, just like that.
Next.
That's Sean, that's wild.
Definitely disowning you, putting you up for adoption.
Wow.
Maybe another podcast can adopt you. Letting you go.
I think what happened, and Steve Stoute is, look, when Steve Stoute talks, I listen. I do, because he's one of those, right? I do think that some context need to be put in perspective as well, though, because you guys think about it. When Ready to Die first released, dark album, lyrically dense, very clever album. The remixes is what carry that album over. When you come back and you have, One More Chance remix, right? That comes through and just take it to a whole different level. Everyone was vibing to that because of the beat switch, honestly, because of the production. It's almost like that old adage of what's more important, the beats or the rhymes. You know what I mean?
I think the Big Papa remix is kind of like their formula for what ended up being the One More Chance remix.
Absolutely.
Like a little something with a softer groove to it.
Absolutely. That's when it went out of here because people want to dance. These songs got to be played in the club. And if you hear a lot of people from the South, cool, no disrespect, but a lot of them talk about Nas by saying, well, you don't play me in the clubs now. He got no club music. Because they want to dance. They want to dance to music. They don't want to just ride around for the most part. And when they do ride around in some regions, it's all about having a bump in the back. It's all about, I want to play something that has a lot of bass in the back. I want it rattling. I don't hear what they're saying. I just want to hear the bass bump in the back of my whip.
You want to know what's crazy is that most of rap's greatest songs aren't really dance records. Like they're not like rap's greatest records really aren't necessarily the type of records that you dance to, even for rap songs.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Is my mom playing Tricks on Me some shit people dance to?
Yeah.
Cream?
Great rap song.
Nothing But a G Thing?
Great rap song.
Dear Mama?
Great rap song.
Yeah. I'll Be There for You, Method Man. Mayor?
Yeah. Great rap song.
These aren't dance songs. These are not dance songs. So something like One More Chance is actually more an anomaly than the norm. In terms of what you get out of an all-time great rap song. Fight the Power is not. I mean, Rosie Perez can dance to it, but the rest of us can't. The rest of us can't dance to Fight the Power. You gonna dance to Fight the Power, nigga?
Yeah.
They might call you a jigaboo.
Yeah, you look crazy dancing. You look
crazy Fight the Power.
Dancing the dance.
Let me tap dance while Fight the Power is playing. Think about that.
Yeah. Rosie did a thing to that though. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, she did.
Like I said,
that's Rosie though. That's Rosie.
That's Rosie, right? It ain't so rosy for the rest of us. That's for dance to it.
You look crazy trying to dance to some kind of Fight the Power. Yeah.
So, Children's Story by Slick Rick, I think, is one of the few records that people can dance to. That's an all-time great. Rap record. Like there are some, but that's not a normal like pull-off in this atmosphere.
It's the beat. It's the beat that what pushes it. The beat is what pushes it. The lyrics. So I understand where he's coming from when he's saying lyrics didn't really matter to the masses. It mattered to the hip hop heads. It mattered to those who value hip hop in its purest form. It didn't matter to those who were really consuming the music from a monetary perspective, who was actually buying the music.
I think hip hop was more created in a musical form for people on the go, not for people to dance to. I think it stopped being that a long time ago. I think, and you call it the crack era or whatever, because of the mid-'80s era in New York, I think the style of music is kind of on the go. And so I think it's better in your car and in your headphones still than on the dance floor, even to this day, because I think that's how it was really like intended originally. And so I think lyrics are a part of that era, but I also think catchy hooks and beats and timeless themes are part of that era too. So we're not going to say that it don't matter, because here's the thing. Lyrically, what do you think about Doggy Style?
It's not one of the best lyrical performance classics.
To me personally, I think it's one. It's not as lyrically dense as, you know, those that came out during that same time, but the
it's not a Cuban Links or Illmatic,
right? But the charisma and the delivery was there, at a high level.
So what he's really talking about is that super lyrical shit,
right? It wasn't there, and you know why? Because you couldn't recite it.
Correct.
There you go. Yeah.
So this is more about the same thing that works in country music and blues and pop and rock. The simple stupid works more. You know?
Absolutely.
Like when Snoop's talking about being a gangster, he's saying shit like, as I look up at the sky,
right,
my mind starts tripping, a tear drops my eye. My body temperature falls. I'm shaking and they breaking, trying to save the dog.
You can follow.
You can say all those words with relative ease after listening to the record 2 times.
You can listen. Right. You can't do that with Illmatic.
No more endo, gin, and juice.
Yeah. Very easy. Very easy to follow.
Very easy. But it's a great mic performance because of the ease at which you can follow it. But you don't feel like you're losing anything lyrically because of it.
No, not at all.
You don't feel like you're losing anything. You don't feel like it's like, oh, you don't walk away from Doggy Style saying, man, I really wish this nigga would have got more lyrical on this album. You don't walk away from Doggy Style saying that.
No, not at all.
And so there is a balance between what we can consider lyrics, I think, is what it made me realize. It's not that lyrics don't matter. It's not that they never mattered. It's like, well, what would you define high-level lyricism? Because one thing that I always loved about KRS-One is he was always good at delivering his message without it word-wise being too over the top.
Right.
You know, everything's fine. Bought myself a Uzi and my brother a 9. It's like, I understand that. You niggas is out in the streets now.
Yeah.
He didn't like complicate it, so we consider KRS-One to be a high-level lyricist. Go listen to how KRS-One talks. It's not anything that's over your head that you can't say again.
Right.
Especially his early stuff, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South.
It was chance.
KRS is supreme lyricist, right?
Yep.
That's what he called himself. Yeah.
Rakim, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody.
Yeah.
Let's look at Rakim. Paid in Full sold 700,000 copies in 1988. That's like going triple now. You know what I mean? 700,000 copies in 1988, 89. That's a big deal. 700,000.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Rappers trying to go gold. I'll just get 500K. Now you're talking about 700K pushing a platinum in 88.
Yeah.
You have to be MC Hammer to get something like that in the first week.
Isn't Paid in Full lyrical?
Yeah.
One of the best.
The truth is somewhere in the middle, although I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying y'all don't love bars as much as y'all say. And I think that does go back to the comment. I think Mad Max might have made this. Oh, I hate admitting that. It's terrible. Ooh, it hurts.
Yeah. That's your one. That's your little one.
Oof.
That's crazy.
Voice and flow matter, guys.
Yeah, it does.
What he really should have said, what the real statement maybe should have been is that lyrics don't hit the same if the voice and the flow ain't there.
No.
Like the lyrics are different because Big is saying the lyrics, because Meth is saying the lyrics, because Nas is saying the lyrics.
Got punch to it.
Because 3,000 saying the lyrics. It's the voice, guys.
Right.
It's the voice.
You're sold on the voice before anything else.
You got to be sold on the voice. You got to hear the voice, and it's got to be a voice that you want to hear over and over again. Every rapper's not blessed with that. I actually think that that's Big Sean's biggest problem.
Yeah. He doesn't
One
have.
of them. That's
It's
an
one of.
Achilles heel for sure.
I mean, and I think the main rapper that overcame that is Jay, because I've never thought Jay had a great rap voice, but it never mattered because when he came out, and this is what I mean about the buy-in and being like super great, super early. When I listen to Reasonable Doubt Volume 1, I don't give a damn how his voice sounds. Some of the best stuff I ever heard from a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how his voice sounded. You got to operate on that level to make people forget something like your voice. You got to have something like a Dead Presidents 2 and the Evils out the gate.
He changed
Well,
everything.
Out
to
the
your
gate.
point, well, I'll let you get that super chat real quick, Sean. I had something to add to what Cooper said.
I got a couple of good, LP. Appreciate you, bro. On them dance records and pandering sounds of the time is why they can't sell shows now, and why the new cats shelf life is shorter than it's ever been. Absolutely. Mad Max again. Appreciate you, bro. Hip hop started as party music. They danced to Curtis Blow, Heavy D, Soul Your Love, Love Kid, and played back then. Coolio was hot back then, and they sold not Nas or Mobb Deep lyrics. Only add to your longevity. And the Raisin had said, Corrupt was the best lyricist on Doggy Style. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He
Absolutely.
was. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, AG.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish cooking, Coop.
Well, that's what Steve Stoute is saying about lyrics, and that's where Steve Stoute is right. Talking about Corrupt being the best lyricist on Doggy Style. Tell me how many people care.
He's
Tell me
not
how many
mentioned.
people care.
He's
How
not
many
mentioned.
times when we talk about Doggy Style, it's like, man, those Corrupt mic performances sure was some of the best stuff lyrically we've heard from
Right.
the West Coast. Don't nobody talk about that when we talk about
We don't
Doggy
talk
Style.
about it. No.
It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Stoute's talking about. Stoute's talking about something like that right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about Corrupt on Doggy Style. He's not talking about Nas on Illmatic.
Right. And then the monetary aspect about it, people actually going out to cop it that say that they love it. I agree wholeheartedly with what he was saying. But I will just fact check him on a few things. It didn't take Illmatic 5 years ago gold. It went gold in '96, 2 years later, and then it went platinum in '01. So that's just changing the facts a little bit. But for what he's saying, I agree. But I think it is lyrical albums that are commercially that move units, and the casual fan will flock to them. But it has to have something attached to it that's commercially viable, right? And it can't just be like lyrical. And that's how you get the perfect storm of It Was Written going triple platinum. Because I would argue with anybody that It Was Written is more lyrical than Illmatic.
Yes.
It was just it was just a more commercially viable album. It had more gloss put on it. It had more digestible with the production, with the hooks, and everything. And one of my favorite albums of all time is Wu-Tang Forever, which is one of the most lyrically dense albums that's ever been released, in my opinion. But Wu was a household name by then, and there was a whole movement behind them. So therefore, they were commercially viable, and it did a lot of numbers. So it's lyrical albums that do numbers, but it has to be something that the commercial audience can get behind to do it. It can't just be lyrics by themselves. And to your point, like you said, Coop, it has to be the flow. It has to be the voice that you want to hear over and over. To your point, Sean, about the hooks, they got to be something that you can repeat easily. Something has to be commercially viable. And we bring that to present day times. Somebody who's somebody who's lyrically inclined, like Kendrick, who has moved units in the past, but he's doing more right now than he ever did with these diss records, because beef is something that's commercially viable. The fans want to hear what you got to say about another artist, and so on, who the other person just happens to be, the biggest artist, in our genre. So I don't think I agree with what Stout is saying, but if you attach something that's commercially viable with the lyrics, then I think that's when the fans want to get behind it. But you can't survive out there on lyrics alone. If you do try to do that, then we don't get, with Illmatic not selling any records, him losing at the Source Awards, coming up empty-handed. He didn't want to feel that feeling again, so Nas went and got, Stout found him, and they made It Was Written, which was a more commercially viable record. So
Right.
I don't care how great the album is. If it's just based on lyrics alone, it's not going to sell. It's not going to move, any units or present day streams or what have you. It has to be something attached to it that's going to garner interest.
You know what it is? I mean, I still believe this wholeheartedly to this day. Like, outside of, if you take If I Rule the World and Street Dreams off of it was written as actually more aggressive than Illmatic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can leave those on there, Black Girl Lost too, and it's still more aggressive.
No, I would keep Black Girl Lost on there. I say that to say, like, obviously, Street Dreams was the take on the Annie Lennox joint, and If I Ruled the World and Curtis Blow joint, more commercially viable records that were taken and flipped by Nas. But I think if we're learning anything from what Stoute is saying, is that he's letting you also inside of his mind of how It Was Written is put together, because It Was Written is actually very aggressive and very, very lyrical, but it has hooks everywhere. And I think
right.
And I think if we're going to be solutions oriented about the lyrics mattering, it's like what he's saying is that if all you got is dope lyrics, you're in trouble in terms of being viable. But if you have a Nas on your hand, somebody can write hooks like Watch Them Niggas, Black Girl Lost, The Setup, I Gave You Power, Street Dreams, If I Rule the World, Suspect Shootout. It's an album full of hooks, and the hooks aren't complicated.
Right. They're not.
I Gave You Power, which is a complicated concept and a complicated song with a complicated.
That's my favorite hook ever in hip hop. Period.
Easiest part about the song is the hook. How You Like Me Now? I go blow. Right. It's not no fancy lyrical wizardry going on.
Right.
And so I think it's a songwriting conversation. Well, lyrics matter, but what matters more is about how you put the lyrics together in a song format to make it digestible for people. So you can do it and sell records. It Was Written as a proof. This is the motherfucker that put It Was Written together. Talking about lyrics never mattered. But you helped Nas make It Was Written.
But I think
it's selling album. It's bar for bar the best lyrical mic performance we've ever heard, and it's his biggest selling album all at once. So he does have he has very keen insight that very few people have on this. I just feel like it's kind of case specific.
But I think what helps It Was Written not only just the lyrics, but the vibrant of the beats. The beats are more vibrant on It Was Written than they are on Illmatic. Illmatic beats are.
When you say vibrant, what do you mean when you say vibrant? Can you clarify that?
You think about the melody of how you bring in If I Ruled the World, where you took Friends and you take the joint from damn, it escapes me right now. But you're talking about just the level of production that goes into It Was Written versus Illmatic. Illmatic is boom bap at its best, at its core.
It's boom bap.
It's boom bap. The sonics, the decibels are lower. You go to It Was Written, now you're hearing a whole different sonic. The sonics are louder. If you think about It Was Written and just kind of
more lush.
Right. Think about it as a musician. Think about it. Use the rap. AJ used the rap. Think about a musician, right? Think about listening to music, just the music itself. In comparison, how vibrant it sounds, how lively it sounds. It sounds live. Even when you listen to live nigga rap, like it's more live than Illmatic beats. Everything on Illmatic.
I'm gonna say something, and people are gonna think this crazy. It's easier to slide on the It Was Written beats than the Illmatic beats.
Yes.
It's easier for you to slide as a rapper on that.
It's more palatable.
No, I agree.
It's more palatable
as a rapper. It's easier for you to slide to this It Was Written beats than the Illmatic beats. Not saying that they're better. They're damn sure easier to rap to, though.
Right, because it's more palatable for the average consumer or the average listener or the average, hip hop fan, or just even a casual.
Well, how about this? It Was Written has melodies. Like when the message is coming in, that guitar, that boom, 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 boom. No, it's easy to rap to that. It's like you can catch, as a rapper, you can catch that melody and be like, oh shit, hold on. I'm in. You're ready. You know what I'm saying? It's like Illmatic is like, oh fuck, how am I gonna rap over these beats? These beats are great. How am I gonna rap over these beats?
They're great.
Beats
They're
are
boom bap.
amazing. What the fuck am I gonna do about this?
It's
you know,
heavy.
like the degree of difficulty is harder on Illmatic. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is because it's a heavy production based album. No different than AG said with Wu-Tang Forever. Wu-Tang Forever is more vibrant. You got you got what Bells of War. You got different instrumentation.
Live orchestra.
You know, live orchestra, right?
See this is what people don't understand is it's like New York State of Mind. It's like that beat's not easy to rap to. Y'all know that, right?
Oh.
That boom 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 boom. No, as a rapper, you sit up there hearing all that, you're like, hold on. It's like
that's a good point, Coop. That's a good point that nobody talks about.
Where am I catching that at? Boom, 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 boom. It's like, hold on. Am I supposed to finish my bar when the snare goes like? I was like, oh fuck.
What is my cue? What is my cue to jump on the bar?
Yeah, that's why he's saying when you hear the record, I don't even know how to start this shit. I feel you. We've rapped before.
Because you can't.
It's not simple 4-bar loops.
It's not.
Yes, and as a writer, what's the hardest thing to do? To start a rhyme or start writing anything.
Like
as a writer, the first sentence is the hardest thing to get out. It's the first sentence.
Oh yeah, the comment is the hardest part. That's why when Jay is on Nas with Black Republican, he's like, niggas just usually start rapping after 4 bars, nigga, go in. Because you're taught as a rapper, it's almost like playing double dutch. It's like 1, 2,
that's the cue.
3, 4, go.
Right.
Metronome, you know? So when you're hearing that boom, 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 that ain't no fucking normal metronome, nigga.
No, because you don't know where to start. So that's why I think it was the perfect storm, the perfect ingredients to push It Was Written over the top, because the contemporary listener or just the average listener or just a listener in general will find that more appealing or more, I guess, aesthetically appealing, if you will, because now they can gravitate to it more. Just like most people gravitate to Blueprint. I think Blueprint is Jay's best mic performance because you can follow Jay. Hov did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. All the beats are very vibrant. The production, phenomenal. You can follow everything Jay's saying. You can follow. It all makes sense.
It's more clear.
Quotable album.
Clear.
It's his most quotable album.
Yes,
because the quotable shit on Reasonable Doubt isn't the type of things that like unless you're like a certain type of dude, like nobody's running around talking about you draw better be Picasso. You know the best. Because if this is not so, God bless. They walk around saying, like you said, Hov did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that. First, the Fat Boys break up. Every day I wake up, somebody got something to say.
Yeah, he knew where he was going with that one.
Hey, AG, is that the woman from Scarface getting shot right now? You gotta go pick up the yayo? You gotta go pick up the yayo? You gotta go pick up the yayo. It's okay.
Yeah, wow. Let me ask both of y'all this though. I was talking about it being commercially viable. So with Illmatic, I've always had the thought process that commercially viable record was It Ain't Hard to Tell. But if SWV doesn't beat them to the punch with Right Here and that Human Nature sample, then we having a different conversation about what Illmatic does commercially. I've always maintained that thought.
If was the fifth.
Yeah. I think it could compartmentalize both of those, to be quite honest, bro. I really do. And I get what you're saying.
I think it's two separate audiences.
Totally separate audiences. They're like on a totally different spectrum of music.
I don't know. The hip hop crowd messed with SWV. Like they was.
Yeah, but
you gotta think that era, like with John A, SWV, and then all that stuff, that bled over into the hip hop crowd. So you know what I mean?
A little. It was some small connective tissue there.
How about this? Here's how you need to look at that. Well, SWV could have got Nas on the record, but they chose Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard for a reason.
Right.
That's what I mean about the separate audiences.
Personality.
What Meth and ODB was saying was simpler than what.
Totally simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're feeding different people.
But just from the production aspect and that sample and what it could have did commercially, because the shock value of that sample being used for a record was gone. by the time It Ain't Hard to Tell came around.
I realize where AG is. AG is in the cafeteria. He's in the Piccadilly cafeteria. They got pot roast. They got pot roast, Salisbury steak, pot roast, Salisbury steak, lemon herb chicken,
and some cornbread, like a cornbread muffin,
and honey butter.
Yeah. I'm in the hotel lobby, bro.
They crazy out there right now in West Virginia.
Remember the Cassidy joint? Doing the
hotel.
R. Kelly?
Yeah.
You got to be careful when you take girls to your hotel with R. Kelly.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
You got to check for ID. You got to check for ID before you take girls to the hotel with R. Kelly.
I don't know why they made Cassidy make that record, man. That ain't in his wheelhouse.
Wake up, be piss stains on the wall. Girls
everywhere. Come on, cool. That song was dope. So
it actually wasn't that good. It wasn't that good.
That's not in Cassidy's wheelhouse.
Girl, you want to make me to my hotel?
They tried to make him like Fab.
So guys like Cassidy is who Steve Stoute is talking about, though, and making records like Hotel to garner the type of attention.
That's a very good point.
Of doing it,
making songs outside of their wheelhouse because the lyrics.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like, well, he's not talking about Nas and Illmatic, and it was written because it's like, no, those albums took Illmatic a long time to sell, but eventually it sold.
But
it was really sold out the gate. He's talking about Cassidy. He's talking about OC. He's talking about Black Thought. He's talking about Cool G Rap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like these guys ain't going multi-platinum.
Yeah.
Right.
The Jizza would fall into that one. I love the Jizza.
Without RZA, the Jizza is honestly, I mean, high level.
Think about this: how much is the Jizza respected as an all-time great lyricist if he doesn't have Liquid Swords?
That's what I'm saying.
That's something I've never thought about, but
he's literally told us, he's like, I ain't hear Liquid Swords till RZA was done with it.
Yeah.
I didn't even put Liquid Swords together. It's like I just came in and did my takes.
All he gotta do is show up and rap. Man.
All you gotta do is show up and rap. Must be glorious to be part of the Wu-Tang Clan.
This is the GOAT, man. He was making movies in the basement.
He was, man. He was
the best. It's the best rap run the producers ever had.
Ever. Never be tough.
Not even close. Yeah, nobody's even close.
No, not at all.
The best run ever.
Not at all.
Like second place would be Dre's late 80s to early 90s run, but yeah. With
that, y'all want to take this smooth segue into a modern day dope run where it all started?
Let's do that.
There's been a lot of dope talk on this show today. Taking that Mike Jack pack over that Breezy though. Imagine dope
Mike Jack
up on you talking about I got the Breezy and I got the Mike Jack. Everybody taking the Mike Jack. Whoever's selling that Mike Jack gonna be a billionaire. Whoever's selling that Breezy still gonna be on the corner next week.
Yo, you get
buying that?
Talk.
Pepsi, nigga, it's a brand name. Blue Magic is a
Blue
brand
Magic
name.
When he said, I don't care if you call it Blue Dog shit, just don't call it Blue Magic.
Now, if you're going to step on this product, you're going to step on it.
So let's talk about when it first started, fellas. KD1. Let's wrap this thing up. KD1 anniversary. I'm going to let y'all smoke on this one. Go ahead, please.
You go ahead, Coop. Kick it off.
Oh, you want me to
Okay.
Go? No. I mean,
you threw the glasses on. Go ahead, Coop. You got it.
I want y'all to go on this one.
I'm going to maintain this. I thought this was a Swan Song album. My first thoughts of hearing this album, I thought it was a Swan Song. And I thought it was a great Swan Song. I'm like, he's about to retire. This is a great way to retire. Because I feel like it was an appropriate follow-up to Life is Good. This was the type of album that made me think it's like, I'm going to forgive all that stuff in the middle. I don't care about all that stuff in the middle. Life is Good is the best adult contemporary male rap album I've ever heard. And I thought this was the appropriate follow-up. But really, I don't think what we realized, it was him getting back into his bag. And I didn't even realize this. He was getting back into his bag. This is a conceptual artist and a conceptual writer. there's a concept. This is a concept album. I think that's the part that we keep forgetting. The album is called King's Disease.
Mm-hmm.
And King's Disease is essentially gluttony.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you actually look at it in retrospect, oh, this is a man that's talking about actually not resting on his laurels. We should have seen the run coming from the title of the album. He's talking about having King's Disease.
Yeah.
Pretty much talking about sitting back like a mob boss getting fat. Like that chick upstairs in the hotel room is right now that you're with, AG. Probably got 40 bricks on her. She probably got 40 bricks on her. I don't know what you're doing with your life, AG. We're here to help you. You don't have to do that anymore. You're with Hip Hop Talks. I want to get you was doing
so well. You was doing so well.
But if you just go and look at the title of the album is actually reflective of where he was in his career. He was somebody that was kind of like on his laurels.
Right.
And so he kind of came back out, and the album snuck up on all of us, and it's held up remarkably well. Like, I don't think it's one of the 3 best projects of the run, but in terms of how it's holding up remarkably well. There's some stuff on here that still sounds great to this day, 4 years later. Blue Bands, 27 Summers. Spicy is still a banger. I don't care what anybody says. I love Spicy.
Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
I got a problem with you, Coop, because you say that you don't count bonus tracks, but when you reference Spicy a lot, but when it comes to Life is Good, you're like, yo, I don't count the bonus tracks.
I'm talking about rating.
I'm gonna call you out on that.
I'm talking about rating the album. I'm talking about rating the album. We're not rating the album.
Okay.
We're talking about the impact of the album, and I'm talking about.
Okay. I just wanted you to keep it consistent.
I still will maintain to you there are no top 3 records. There are no top 5 records to me on the bonus tracks on Life is Good.
Trust.
No, maybe Trust. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll give you that. Trust is a top 5 song on Life is Good if we're including bonus tracks, but it's the only one like that. And there's multiple.
But that's just me messing with you because you reference Spicy a lot.
I love Spicy. Spicy's a banger. Spicy is one of those records that was like, oh shit, he can keep doing this if he wants to.
I'm glad he relented and put that on album. Put that on the album because Hit Boy had to, convince him of that.
This also started the trend of him doing a big guest appearance or a big feature on each album. The surprise big feature on this album was the Firm reunion. We got a Firm reunion song on this album with Dr. Dre talking on the end of the record.
Uncredited. That was a big surprise.
That's a big thing. It's like, no, it's the original Firm too. Like, it's Nas and AZ. AZ had a verse of the year contender, in my opinion, on that verse. Nas had a great verse on there. Fox
Mega did his thing.
Yeah, Mega did his thing. Dre's at the end. It's a dope beat. That's a moment. That started the run of the Eminem and EPMD and Lil Wayne and all the special guests, the 50, like all the guest appearance runs, the special guest appearance runs. It started with this one too. So there was, in a lot of ways, blueprint plans being laid out by King's Disease 1. And so I think it's still a great album. It's still just a 4 to me. And that's what I like about the album. It hasn't elevated or dissipated. I thought it was a very strong 4 to 4.25. And I still feel that way about it today. When I originally rated it, I gave it a 4.25. And today I would still give it a 4.25.
Do you rank it 5th in the entire run? That's where I have it.
5th? It's not better than Magic or KD3. Go ahead and get that out the way. It's not better than Magic 3.
Or KD2.
Not better than King's. Yeah, it's not better than King's Disease 2. Yeah, 5.
I think it falls in at 5th.
That's saying a lot. This album is really good. There are a lot of really good records on here. I wouldn't say there's no greatest hits. There's no classic on here per se, but this is pretty remarkable if you look at where he was in his career at the time that this happened and how these records came out and the pairing with Hit Boy, like Ultra Black. No, Ultra Black still sounds good today.
And it's one of those that sound better in the context of the album. Because as a single, I was kind of like, this is cool, but in the context of the album, it's pretty great.
Me too. Well, when you put it next to a 27 Summers and Blue Benz and Car 85 like in sequence, and it's like, oh shit, it's like it's a nice little stretch of songs on an album that flow together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, did you listen to the track that didn't make the cut that I sent you the other day?
I did.
What'd you think?
I like it better than the song with Sean that did make the cut, actually.
I don't like it better than Replace Me, but I think it's actually a good song.
I think Replace Me is one of the weakest songs on KD1, though. So,
really,
I think,
no, all bad with Anderson .Paak. All bad with Anderson .Paak to me.
I love All Bad. I love All Bad.
All Bad was the first song. Was the first song recorded for the run, and I think the story of how this all came about is really interesting. On Station Head, Taj interviewed Double. How many months ago was that, Sean? It was probably about I don't know, about 6-7 months ago. Yeah. And how he linked up Hit Boy and Nas. Hit Boy, saw his man Double's IG story, and then he was rolling around Cali with Nas, and Hit was just like, yo, bring him to the studio like now, tell him I got some heat for him. And he didn't think that they was gonna pull up, but they pulled up the next day, long story short. And Nas had the idea to do.
Who is this?
This is Double.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nas had the idea, and he told Hit Boy, I'm gonna continue to pull up, because he had the idea of doing a Valentine's Day EP, and they had worked together before, on a track. They ended up on Lost Tapes 2 called Royalty or whatever, and that originally had Frank Ocean on it, but they never, got in the studio together to craft anything. But Nas wanted to do a Valentine's Day EP, and All Bad was the first song they recorded, and he already had the Anderson .Paak hook already laid on there, and then you can see how that theme was the original theme, because you got songs like Till the War Is Won. The song that didn't make the cut that I sent you, Coop, is called it's with the Dream. It's called This Ain't Love But I Love It. And then you got Replace Me. And then even Full Circle that we talked about is a relationship song. If you talk about the concept that Mega, AZ, and Nas stuck to, and then Foxy kind of came in off topic, but that's a relationship based song. So you see the genesis and the bones of what that was supposed to be. But Hit said he started making other beats like, the King's Disease intro and then Blue Benz, and I was jumping on them, and it was just coming out like heaters. And he was like, yo, this gonna have to turn into something else. You know what I mean? And then that's when the King's Disease concept and then thing began to take shape. And then they crafted what was a great album. And we didn't know it at the time. I'm with you, Coop. I thought it was going to be a swan song, and I didn't know it was going to be a 6-album run. But what I will say, KD1 has its own special place for me. I still maintain to this day that this is Nas's best easy listening album. And what I mean by that, from like you could just put it on front to back, clean the crib, whatever. I don't think like what would you say is better than that, Coop, as far as easy listening?
Life is Good.
You think it's a better easy? I think it's more. I think Life is Good is more, whereas King's Disease is more steady all the way through.
It's more mellow.
For me,
more mellow. It's a more steady tone, but I don't know if it's a better easy listen though. Like
yeah, it's shorter too.
I think the subject matter on Life is Good hits closer to home for people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the best.
Closer to home. Album. Yeah, like I think Life is Good gets you wrapped in the emotions of the album better, and that makes it easier listening because you get wrapped into the emotions of the album. Like when
I agree, but I think it's
about my daughter. Like the songs about marriage, songs about love lost, the songs about trust.
Right.
But I think it's more stark contrast on there because you got the locomotives and the accident murders, and then on the other side you got the stay and then the bye babies. Those are stark contrasts throughout the course of the album.
What I mean. Gangsters don't just dance; they boogie. So you gotta have some. That's what I mean. Is it like no? Like how about this? You ever like? Did you grow up like? Did you ever watch your mom vacuum the house?
All the time. Most of the time, I had to do it.
Okay.
Window sitting around watching.
Right.
Boy, you grab his vacuum.
No. My mom used to let me watch her while I was watching Saturday morning cartoons. Feel sorry for you niggas.
That explains a lot, Coop. I can see why.
It does. I was about to Miami Vice.
Feel sorry for you niggas. Not vacuuming. I clean the bathrooms. I clean the kitchen. I'm not vacuuming. Not doing that. But what I'm saying is that mom didn't dance the same way, that she did to the Whispers Just Get Better with Time, as she did the Princess Hot thing off Sign of the Times. Like, you got to have levels to the experience. And I feel like Life is Good has more levels to the experience. Like King's Disease has a vibe to it. You are right about the Valentine's Day inspired album. That did appear to be the original central theme of the album. I've heard things that I'll never tell. But
which joint do you like better? Do you like Life is Good or in his discography? Which one do you rank higher between Life is Good and KD1?
No, I have Life is Good higher.
That's
I think
fair.
Life is Good is better. Like Life is Good and KD2 are closer comps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Godson, I think they all like. I think Godson as well. I think they're all on that same.
I don't think Godson is as good as those albums, but it has made you look and get down and Last Real Nigga Alive, and so it elevates it because of those 3 songs specifically. It gets elevated because in the end, it's not as good as those albums. It's not. I'm not as big. I've always been a big Godson fan, but I've realized over the course of time, I'm not as big on Godson as everybody else is. Like after Last Real Nigga Alive. In a lot of ways, sometimes I be good.
You don't like Revolutionary Warfare? Heaven is crazy.
I like
Warrior Song.
I like Book of Rhymes.
Book of Rhymes is crazy. Alchemist.
Yeah, that's Alchemist. I like Book of Rhymes, Get Down, Last Real Nigga Alive, Made You Look, of course, is arguably his best single that he's ever released, in my opinion. I was never a big fan of I Can.
And you don't count the bonus tracks, but remember the bonus disc was fire.
No, I don't.
Yes.
The bonus wasn't fire.
POD.
Oh, yes, it was.
The Pussy Kills? Is that the one with Pussy Kills?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty fire.
That's on the new.
I didn't count that either. You know what I like? I like Heaven. The last track, Heaven.
Yeah.
Heaven's crazy.
That's what I mean. The highs of Godson are there. I just don't know if it's consistent in the end.
And to me, that was the first time he mastered the double time flows on Heaven, because before that he couldn't get it.
Yeah.
I love Dance. I just can't listen to it.
I can't listen to that.
Can't listen to it,
but I love
can't
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Revolutionary Warfare is cool. There's some suspect stuff on there, like Hey Nas is suspect, Zone Out is suspect.
I love Hey Nas.
That's typical. That's not surprising coming from your ass.
I used to flip it like Hey Sean. Like I used to flip it.
That's crazy. Sean, wow. Well, what's your thoughts on KD1, Sean?
What's crazy about that is that when he said it, I totally believed what he was saying because it sounds like some shit he would do.
I did it. Like
100%.
Yeah, Hey Sean.
100%. What's your thoughts on KD1 though, Sean? Because this is your favorite out of the whole 6 album run, right?
Come on, Queens, get the money. Talk about KD1.
I wanted y'all to smoke on it. Honestly, I just leave it like this, man. I
wanted y'all to smoke on it. You want to know what?
That is crazy. My bad.
We're gonna get. I'm pretty certain that after this is the type of show that gets you censored and indicted. I just want.
That was crazy, and I said it with so much velocity too, man. Like
not with velocity. This nigga get him. I said it with velocity.
Okay.
Get him. I can't do this.
I
can't work under these conditions.
I can't either.
I say that all the time. Like I don't even know what's going on. Like no, man. But KD1 does hold a special place in my heart. Like Coop said, you thought it was gonna be this end. It's like this is it. This is the end. And I think I have mixed emotions because I'm like him and Hit Boy. How this gonna turn out? Because at the time we didn't think Hit Boy would be able to do this. I remember a lot of like podcasters were saying the same thing. I remember even Joe Budden said it. He was like, Nas and Hit Boy, we have to see. Like, no one believed that this would be what it is, let alone 5 albums to come after this, right? This set the tone. This was the album that set the tone. And I think for me, the biggest, and I'll leave it at this, the biggest takeaway for me for this was for Son to win the Grammy. When he got nominated for the Grammy, and he won the Grammy. Man, I felt like Jesse Jackson when Obama got the presidency. I was in the house, had an ugly cry going on. Remember him crying when Obama won the presidency? That's how I felt, because I'm like, yo, we finally did it. And we finally did it. So it was like a big relief for me that son was able to get the Grammy off of such an incredible album. That set the tone for everything else.
Was Jesse ass crying like that when Dr. King got shot? I'm just asking questions. Keep going, Sean. Keep going.
Those are
crying. Didn't look like he was crying when Dr. King got shot in the picture. He was crying when Obama got in office.
Jesse Jackson on the balcony, but King got killed.
Yeah. But that's but thanks I
got trapped in the elevator with Jesse Jackson once. Have I ever told you that story?
Being trapped with an elevator with Jesse Jackson is crazy.
I mean, there was about 11 of us on a service elevator, but yeah, I got trapped. The power went out while I was on the service elevator.
Two stories, man.
Jesse Jackson
did he say, the elevator went out? He was like, "Now y'all keep hope alive."
You know what I was thinking the whole time? I'm not even gonna lie. I was standing there. I was like, this nigga tall as hell.
Yeah, Jesse's about 6'4", man.
Jesse's 6'4". He is. He's about 6'4". I was like, hold on. I was like, why am I looking up to Jesse Jackson?
I've met him before. I've met him before, but I wasn't trapped in the elevator with him.
I got stuck in the elevator. Power in the hotel went out. Me and Jesse Jackson were on the elevator.
You do remember he was campaigning to run for president at one point, Sean.
Whatever.
Don't nobody remember that outside of the different world.
We try to forget it. We try.
I'm like, God, when Obama got in office. Yeah, okay.
That's how I felt. I'm not gonna front. I just felt relief that Son Father had got the Grammy. Straight up. I felt relief. And that was my biggest takeaway from the album. I mean, I love
But big thanks to Hit Boy though. You know what I mean? For inspiring him like that.
AG, I was actually about to say this album is actually the most important moment in Hit Boy's career as a producer.
Absolutely.
Changed trajectory.
It's changed. This is the album. So let's say, you already have Nas where you have Nas and you have him placed prior to this album, and nothing about this run has changed any of that.
Right.
It's changed everything for Hit Boy, and that's what I've been saying.
Yeah,
it changed everything for Hit though.
Yeah.
But they both approached it with a chip on their shoulder though.
Right, but just the fact that somebody the caliber of Nas as an MC sought this guy out again and again and again and again and again. And this is the album. So this album is important, and it's the most important album of Hit's career because something about these tracks, these records, and these sessions and how things came along made Nas want to go back in with Hit and just Hit. And guess what? For whatever people want to say, we've never seen him do that with anybody. That includes DJ Premier. That includes Salah Remy, Pete Rock, Large Professor. He has never done a full-length project with just one producer and then said, hey, let's do it again. And then let's do it again and again and again and again.
I feel like they're A-alikes because I think they're both real humble dudes that, like, you know what I mean, appreciate each other. Because this is the first time. I mean, you think about how much humbleness Nas had to have to let Hit Boy produce him the way he did. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you got to check your ego at the door.
Well, you can hear that on KD1. I think KD1's biggest problem is the fact that, Hit isn't who Hit is as a hip-hop producer until KD1 gets done. And so this is Nas rapping over beats that Hit Boy gave him. The rest of the projects are Hit Boy producing Nas.
Correct.
Like the way Dre produces Snoop, the way Primo produces Guru. Like
they had to find their footing.
He started producing Nas after that. That's why you got Store Run and Nobody in Death Row East right after
Death Row East.
Like
and you got that young boy energy.
And Rare.
Rare's a good one.
Like that's why you got those records afterwards, because Hit Boy is like, oh, I need to start producing this guy. Like, he wants to work with me. I got to start producing him. Fuck giving him a beat. I was giving him beats. I'm producing for arguably the greatest MC of all time. Oh no, I got to produce him.
I can't say it enough. if you haven't seen the master class that Nas did, it's a good watch because you get a glimpse into the studio because it would be like, okay, say this way. You use too many words right there. You could say it like this or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And this is the GOAT that we talking about here. But like you said, if you're one of those ones as a producer, you have to step up to the challenge to be able to produce these people. And Nas had the reverence for Hit Boy to say, like, yo, this is my Quincy. And most of their songs started out based off conversations that they had. It was a lot of building with each other in the studio versus here's the beat, you rap on the beat, and that's it.
That's how it's supposed to be. On Rare, he actually rapped until the reel went off.
Mm-hmm.
He rapped until the reel went off on Rare.
Yep.
Yeah. So these records.
Yeah, I appreciate Hit Boy immensely.
Yeah. So this is really like the turning point in Hit Boy's career. This is the difference between being a dope producer for your era and becoming one of the greatest producers of the era and getting yourself into the all-time greatest producers conversation. This is the start of Hit's run, actually.
Yeah.
Like it's a culmination. It's a culmination for Nas, but it's a start for Hit. And so how King's Disease 1 probably needs to be remembered is that this is kind of the jump start of Hit Boy's hip-hop career as a hip-hop producer. Like in people's minds. Like he's been making hip-hop stuff for a long time, but in people's minds, he was never a real, true, fundamental hip hop producer. Like
not only that, Coop, but you say album producer to craft the album. He was more of a placement producer prior.
That's
to
what
that
I mean.
as well.
That's how the industry and old heads looked at him. It's like, oh, you just they call you for a track or 2 or 3, fam. You really can't put together a project like you want to be new niggas.
You had to mail it in. Yeah, you had to mail it in.
Yeah, you can send it. You're gonna send us a 10-pack of beats. We might pick 1 or 2, but you know what I'm saying? As opposed to being the type of guy where it's like, oh no, I want to sit down in the studio with this guy.
Right.
That's different. That's the level that Alchemist is on. Havoc, Dr. Dre, DJ Paul, DJ Quick, where it's like, no, we want to sit down with you and work on some music.
We want to curate together.
As opposed to you just send me some of your beats. He went from being a guy that people were sending beats to the type of guy. It's like, oh shit, I need to think about this guy doing my next project for me.
Yeah.
Because look at the shit that he's doing for Nas. He got Nas rapping next to fucking A Boogie with the hoodie and ASAP Ferg. And
that's a good point. That's a good point. The pairings are like phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they were organic. They weren't forced. It was people coming through, you know what I'm saying, to holler at Hit. And
fucking with Hit. Right. The people that was fucking with Hit, the younger dudes fucking with Hit is like, you in here working with Nas? They like, oh fuck. You working with Nas? Can I get on a song?
Yep. And let's not forget John Sport J. Let's not forget him. Let's not forget David Kim. No, but just those guys.
No, shout out to Jan Sport and David Kim, like the whole team part of the process.
But this is all young energy that's surrounding, Nas. You know what I mean? It's reinvigorated.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, greatest moment of my music career is when Hit's telling me, it's like, yeah, we in the studio watching you while we making the music and shit. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask both of y'all this, if y'all can rewind back and remember back to when Nas was doing promo and press for KD1. Coop, you had said that you thought this was going to be his swan song, but I know on at least 3 interviews during the KD1 release, he said that he was working on another secret project for the people, which ended up being KD2.
Don't take this the wrong way, but when Nas says that he's working on something special, I treat it the same way as when Primo tells me, is when Dr. Dre tells me, is when RZA tells me, is when all these niggas tell me. It's like, nigga, please.
Yeah, but he delivered, though.
He delivered. All I'm saying is
a year later.
Yeah.
There used to be this producer magazine. I forget the name that it's called. It's like I got a magazine from like 2000 in like 4 or 5, like with Nas and Preem on the cover talking about making an album.
Scratch magazine.
Scratch. There it is.
That was 2005. Yep.
Right. I got that.
I still got mine.
Scratch. It's 2024. So that's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, it's like, oh, you working on something special? It's like, yeah, you told me in 2005 you guys were working on something special. Whatever, nigga.
Yeah, we still waiting for the Cure for RZA.
We still waiting for the Nas and Preem album this year, and we got a single. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, sure we are. Keep telling y'all we're not getting no album.
But to that point, though,
hey Sean,
it's
do
work
we have
ethic.
any release date for Dre and Snoop while we're here?
November.
He said November.
Oh yeah, is it in the queue?
That's what
okay.
he
said it gotta be mixed by September to get it out by November.
What is it? It's August 22nd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah, you keep telling me.
The single next month.
No, 22nd. 22nd.
Keep on buying. Keep on buying. You keep on buying what they're telling you.
Real quick, fellas.
Keep on buying.
Yo, Magic said, "Ancestor Trap Cooping elevator." Yeah, so fitted. Yo, Michael Williams, random hypothetical question: if Who Shot Ya and the One More Chance remix were originally on Ready to Die, would you have it ranked above Life After Death?
Nope.
Nah, it's still there.
Nope.
I mean, me personally, I like Ready to Die better than Life After Death, but I objectively speaking, have Life After Death ahead. But I will tell you, no, having Who Shot Ya and the One More Chance remix on Ready to Die, no, that does change things.
It changes everything. It really changes everything. Yeah.
It changes things. Like, let's say you take, I mean, for me, like, how about this? Are we replacing records or are we just adding them on? Because if we're taking 2 records out,
that makes a difference.
Shooting them with One More Chance and Who Shot Ya?
Yeah.
That's different. It's a different album. Like, if we're taking Friend of Mine and Respect off, and insert, no, it's
you got.
See, that's a cheat code because I could easily say like, yo, throw the Q, because I could easily say throw the Q-tip. This Word Is Your remix on Illmatic, so that that ups it up a level too. So
no, I get that, but what I'm saying is that like, well, you got Give Me the Loot, Machine Gun Funk, Warning, Everyday Struggle, Me and My Bitch, Big Papa, The What. The actual record Ready to Die, things done changed. You're throwing Who Shot Ya and I gave One More Chance for him. Oh no, that's
I would take off Respect and Friend of Mine. Those
that's what I'm saying. That's a top 10 rap album if we're swapping those 2 songs out. And it is
well, some people think it's top 10 already.
Yeah. Huh? Oh yeah.
Some people have it as top 10 already, but
it's not. But okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
Real quick, because this will go with that next super chat, Connor. Do you think the freshman sophomore combo of Illmatic and It Was Written is better than Ready to Die and Life After Death?
Oh yeah. To me,
not by much. Not by much.
It's close, but I'm gonna give it to Nas.
I gotta buy Carly.
Hold on, I got a better question. What you think is better, Ready to Die or Reasonable Doubt?
Reasonable Doubt.
You think Reasonable Doubt's better than Ready to Die?
I do. I don't hold Ready to Die. I mean, I think it's a classic, but Life After Death is the pinnacle, and I think Reasonable Doubt is better than Ready to Die. I think It Was Written is better than Ready to Die as well. Me and Sean did a whole station head on this.
Smoke the boots on that. Yeah, people mad.
That wasn't even what we was. We couldn't even do a versus.
I don't know what you were doing.
Sean just be lying for no reason.
I don't know what you were doing.
How about this? I think Reasonable Doubt actually in a lot of ways might be more impactful than Ready to Die, but I don't know if song for song it's better than Ready to Die. I bet I could beat you song for song with Ready to Die. I can beat you.
We can do it whenever.
I struggle.
I don't know if you
want
to
do a versus.
I have Unbelievable in the What? Like you're not winning anything.
It don't matter, man.
It do.
I feel like Ready to Die is real top heavy, and like we spoke about the remixes and stuff. That's not original part of the album. I just think Reasonable Doubt's better. And keep in mind, because we did this whole thing before. We used to do a versus matchups in track order. That's not how we do it. And we putting the best joints up against the best joints. We match them up like that, not track list order.
No, I'm fine with that.
You good with that? Because we did that with It Was Written and Ready to Die, and it was like ugly, like it was like lopsided.
I smoke.
It was bad. Sean, why are you lying? Like
what?
We was on the same side.
It Was Written, Smoked, Ready to Die.
It was bad. It wasn't. We wasn't even trying.
It Was Written,
bro.
It's not Smoking Ready to Die.
It's cool.
It wasn't close, bro.
Side by side. Listen to them side by side. It
wasn't close.
It wasn't
No,
close.
I don't know. I don't know if I can give you guys that. Like, I mean, how do you feel? Okay, so maybe I'm a bigger fan of those Biggie records than y'all are. Like, I love shit like Machine Gun Funk and The What and Unbelievable and Everyday Struggle. Like, those records are high.
But it depends on what they matched up against. I have to pull up the old Station Head. So I probably still got the matchup saved in my phone somewhere. I'll send you the matchup.
Even posted on Twitter just to get the other people to think about it, and
yeah,
it was lopsided to the point where I think
it caused a little bit of a stir.
It started the AG and someone else war for a little while. Y'all know about the AG and Bike Rider war.
Like I don't.
It was like 9 to 5 or something crazy like that.
So I'll tell you how I feel. I like a record like Ready to Die or Warning more than I like an Affirmative Action.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know how.
I gotta send you the matchup. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I love shootouts. I love shootouts, but I'm picking The What over shootouts. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking Everyday Struggle over Suspect. I can see the records that Nas is gonna win, but I don't know about that, fellas.
I gotta send you the matchup, and you send me what you pick. I'll find it in my phone. I gotta say.
I smoke AG boots.
And we got the back catalog on Station Head. Those of y'all who ain't, subscribed to our Station Head, all that stuff's on there. I mean, we did that a year or so ago, but it's on there somewhere.
You just subscribe to all our stuff
in the archives.
They get birth to the AG wars. AG was going crazy. He was getting ridiculed, and homie was like,
people don't want to admit stuff like that because we programmed and built in to say certain things without thinking about it and not, breaking it down and parsing it out. Like, oh, what's the better album? Ready to Die. Like, that's what I'm supposed to say. But when you put them side by side and break them down, then you might end up thinking differently. And it wasn't, I felt like it was better even before doing that, but it's just to open people's eyes a little bit. And then to me, doing versus matchups and track list order is kind of boring because vibes don't match. Because you might get, say for instance, you're doing Blueprint and Stillmatic. It ain't fair if, like in the track list, that Braveheart Party lines up with Heart of the City. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, let's put Braveheart Party against, that Jigga. You know what I'm saying? Joints like that, worst against the worst, and then let's put the best against the best, and then see how it shakes out. So that's how we approached it.
Yeah, it wasn't track for track listing for track
right.
listing.
It's like we took the strongest songs, put them against the strongest songs, and the weakest joints, put them against the weakest joints. For instance, like people consider Black Girl Lost and Nas Is Coming the weakest on It Was Written, but how would those fare up against Respect and Friend of Mine on Ready to Die? You see what I'm saying?
And I get that. I'm gonna say something to you. Like, Big's more exciting than Nas, though. As I grab the tech, put it.
I don't argue with that at all.
One in the chamber. The safety is off release. Straight at your dome, Holmes. I want to see cabbage. Biggie Smalls the savage. Doing your brain cells much damage. Teflon is the material for the imperial. Mike Ripper, girl stripper, the Henny sipper. I drop lyrics off and on like a light switch. Quick to grab the right bitch and make her drive the Q45. No, it's different when Big is spit. Big is
but that's not
big on the mic. Big on the mic is as entertaining,
cool, and
it's like box office as it gets when he starts rapping. It's like, ooh, this shit is scintillating. Like he's box office when he raps. So when you're telling,
but then you got live in rap.
It's like you're not washing somebody as box office. There's no washing somebody box office like Big. Big is box office.
Cool. No play them side by side.
Yeah, and it's not watching him as an MC. Like that's where you're getting it twisted. It's like how the songs matched up. The score was more lopsided than I even anticipated.
We were surprised. We matched it up.
Ready to Die 9 to 5. Like I love It Was Written. No, I'm telling y'all bugging.
Cool. Listen, I audited myself. Like I put the matchups together, and I was like, "Yo, I'm being biased." I sent it to Sean. Sean was like, "Nah, I pretty much got the same score." Sent it to the homie Tribe. Like, "Yo, I pretty much got the same score." We did a station head. Everybody in the station head was voting accordingly. Like, see, you're not bugging. Then we put it on Twitter, and then people was like, "Yo, you bugging?" Then they looked at the matchups, and then they was looking at the song matchups and voting. It was like, "Nah, you might be on to something." Like, you know what I mean? That's how it went. It was crazy times, man. It was dope. I'm gonna send it to you. Word up.
Coop, I think I even texted you during that time because I said, "Yo, AG, get me to it with homie."
No, and I feel like I remember it vaguely because I feel like Sean, you would hit me up. He's like, "Yo, like you really need to watch this Ready to Die versus It Was Written."
Yeah,
but I was thinking to myself, it's like I don't need to watch that. It's about to be a bloody war. So when you tell me,
but I feel the same thing.
War.
But I feel like the same thing about Reasonable Doubt. I think that will win, but I think that would be a harder W than it was for It Was Written because I have It Was Written slightly ahead of Reasonable Doubt, slightly. But if I'm ranking them,
I think Ready to Die, It Was Written, and Reasonable Doubt are all comparable, and I could see It Was Written beating Reasonable Doubt, and I could see it. I don't see It Was Written beating. I don't know about beating Ready to Die. That's hard.
I'm gonna send you the list. For me, Ready to Die is the bottom of the three. The bottom of the three.
We got Trife in the comment. We got Jadarian in the comment. They'll tell you.
I'm sorry. Like Warning, Unbelievable. The what? It's too many big records. It's a lot of big records on.
I'm gonna send you the list, and you send me the score back. But let me tell you like, this.
How about this? Objectively speaking, you think the setup is better than Warning? Like objectively speaking.
No, I would vote Warning on that, but I don't remember if that's how I had it matched up. But here's what I'm saying.
Is just like I think sometimes it's not. It's about who you're playing, AG. You're playing me.
Yes, it's matchups. It's matchups.
It's different when you play Coop. I'm not gonna let the setup win.
We can
power win.
We can go over there.
I'm not gonna let those records win.
We can go in there anytime, Coop. But I say it like this: the goal.
10 spades on the second hand. You know what I'm saying? That's
listen,
the type of player I am. It's like, oh,
the goal. The goal wasn't to prove that It Was Written would win. The goal was to like reshape people's way of thinking. Because like I said, we've been programmed certain ways to be like, oh, Ready to Die is like, top 5 album, whatever. It's automatically better. People say stuff without really doing the knowledge. So that was the whole point. So even if it doesn't win, if it comes out closer than you think it is in your mind, then that's a win for me. Like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people put it this way. When people are saying the greatest hip hop albums of all time, how much space do you think it is between Ready to Die and It Was Written on a lot of these lists? Most people hold Ready to Die as a top 10 album, and they might say It Was Written as top 30, top 25.
Right.
Am I wrong?
That's the difference between me and other people is that I would have both of those albums probably on my list somewhere between 10 to 20 together.
Okay. But I'm asking you what the norm is. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying when you're what I'm trying to say is that when you're telling me It Was Written as beating Ready to Die 9 to 5, what I'm telling you is that I'm going to take those same records and it is going to be like 7 to 6, motherfucker. Like you're not beating me no 9 to 5.
I don't care how you flip around.
Listen to what I'm saying. No album, except for maybe the Purple Tape, is beating Ready to Die 9 to 5.
Cool. I'm gonna send you the match.
Or It Takes a Nation. It Takes a Nations or the Purple Tape could do that to the Ready to Die song for song. No other rap album is beating no Ready to Die like 9 to 5. No, it's not.
Man, I don't know if you can find it. I mean, we did that so long ago.
Let me ask you something. Do you think Ready to Die is better than Moment of Truth or It's Dark and Hell Is Hot?
Both. Yes.
I don't think it's better.
It's better than both of them.
It's Dark and Hell Is Hot.
Yes, I think it's better, slightly. And I think it's better than Moment of Truth, too.
I actually think the beats are better on It's Dark and Hell Is Hot.
Yeah, Moment of Truth is crazy, though.
Moment of Truth, beat-wise, is beating all these motherfuckers.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find it on my phone. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, you do that all you want. So, Ready to Die is better than It's Dark and Hell Is Hot and Moment of Truth. 9 to 5? Yeah, we running that back. We running that back. I don't care if both niggas is frozen. I don't care if both of y'all are frozen. I don't care if AG disappears. AG running from me. AG's ducking the battle already. Look at this. This is ridiculous.
It froze up on us.
As soon as I issue a challenge, it got frozen. All right. Be ending this song ending this show without AG. He ran.
Oh, did he really? I don't know where he at.
No, I want to thank y'all for coming out to Hip Hop Talk. Ain't nobody think about AG.
AG, the challenge is out there. The challenge is out there. I'm the grand champ, so I let y'all scrubs battle it out. Damn, AG.
Told you, AG frozen.
Yeah, he did it on purpose. LP, trust me. Ask Try to tell you, LP.
I think y'all wild.
Yo, I don't know what's going on, AG. But let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe. Make sure that you share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you all for pulling up tonight. And yo, try to get AG back, but we're going to go.
No, man, AG is in an episode of Miami Vice. The Connect just showed up.
AG doing something wild out there, man.
Crockett and Tubbs is on the stakeout outside the hotel.
Yo.
You need to get out of there, AG.
Yo,
I didn't even know AG was living this way.
Yo, I did. Yo, Tribe, we got to find that on that clip that's in the cool. Yo, we out, fellas.
Like and subscribe to the page.
Like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all. We out.